But I'd sure like to see what he's capable of doing.
Bill Schmidt.
I think it's going to be extremely fun.
And Armin Saryan.
Oh, man, I don't know. I hope I can live up to the hype.
Nooners. Hit the guys up on the Pella WI Talk and Text line at 414-799-1973.
Unbelievably fantastic, man. I love to listen to your show.
9 to noon is brought to you by Palermo's. When you want pizza, you want Palermo's. Made right here in Wisconsin for over 55 years. Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Welcome to 9 to noon.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my dog and I can't see.
Love in the shotgun. Jones to his left. Reed in motion to the right. Turns back the other way. Here's the handoff. Aaron Jones blasting up the middle. Riding the way to the end zone for the touchdown. Aaron Jones off right tackle. And he takes the football and passes it to a group of Packers fans right below us. Third down, Dallas. Snap to Prescott. Clean pocket. Fired left side. Intercepted. Intercepted by the Packers. Jair Alexander. They're going to mark him down by contact, I believe, out near the 18-yard line. Love takes, handoff goes to Aaron Jones, spinning his way to the end zone. He's in for the touchdown. And the Packers take a 13-0 lead. Love takes play action back to throw. Gets a block from Showtime. Lost the right side. Dobbs wide open. Right sidelines 45-40. He's to the 35. Barreled out of bounds. Wow, they hit him with another big play. Here's the snap. Jordan Love looks downfield, throws off the back foot to the end zone. Over the shoulder catch. Touchdown. Done. Tavian Wicks on the post, and the Packers lead it 20-0. Prescott in the shotgun, Pollard to his left. And he takes the snap, takes the handoff, tight pocket, throws it, intercepted back the other way. It's going to be a pick six for Darnell Savage. Oh, my goodness. Minute 50 to go. First half, 27-0 Green Bay. Can you believe it? Motion to the left side by Watson. Jones the lone set back. Give it to Aaron Jones. Picks his way up the middle. Crossing end zone. Touchdown. Aaron Jones doing it again to the Cowboys. The El Paso native making Big D his field. Taking the handoff back to throw. Love hit as he throws it deep down the right side. Romeo Dobbs wide open. Right sidelines 30. 25-20. Out of bounds. Wow. Romeo Dobbs again. Jordan Love under pressure. Got it away. Dobbs wide open. Marquise Bell forced him out, saving a touchdown. Ron Tolbert's crew during the season called the second most penalties. But in the playoffs, you have this ridiculous thing of all-star crews. So this crew is working together essentially as a crew for the first time, which makes no sense to anybody with any kind of sense whatsoever.
Are you saying that explains their incompetence?
I didn't say incompetence. That was not my word. Nor can I spell the word. Play action and bootleg, left, half bootleg, left, now throw, back the other way. He's got him wide open. Down the right side, Musgrave, end zone, touchdown, touchdown, Luke Musgrave. And a dagger right through the heart of the Cowboys. Fourth down and short. Give to fake Aaron Jones. Love bootlegs right, throws it back against the grain of the end zone. Touchdown on a diving grab. It is Romeo Dobbs. A sidearm throw into the end zone. Rolling to his right by Jordan Love in traffic. And the Packers are piling it on the Cowboys. It's 47-16.
Not a whole lot of folks thought they could do just a victory, let alone a dominating victory.
Jordan Love takes and drops to a knee, and that will do it. John, great work as usual, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks,
We're
Wayne.
still working.
Hey, house money. We said it before this game. We still have it. We went all in and we doubled up. Let's do it again next week.
You got it. All the chips to the
Give it up to everybody in this room. First 7th seed in the history of the NFL to win a playoff game. 3 punts inside the 10. defense. Give it up for our defense. Sam with a pick six. John Money setting it off with the pick. Offensive line, give it up for the O-line. No sacks. No sacks. Musgrave stayed on his feet.
Let's go, man. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali.
Here we go. 9 to noon, ready to rock the rivers and shake the lakes. It's a Victory Chicken Monday, and the Green Bay Packers are going back to Cali to try to do something they have not done. Well, in a number of years, something the old number 12 could never do. Do you throw 10 on a perfect 10 and be able to beat the Niners in the playoffs for the first time in almost 30 years? It's 9 to noon. Those conversations are for later on in the week. John Kuhn is back from Dallas, and he's going back to Cali to see the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's Stadium. John, one of us on the program picked the Green Bay Packers to be victorious. His name is Armin Sari, and he's on the board. He was on the board yesterday during the game. I predicted a 2-touchdown L. I don't remember the final score. I knew it was going to be difficult on your side, but out of all the ways that I saw it going, I did not see the ass whooping being put up on the Dallas Cowboys yesterday by the green and gold at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, if anybody came out here and said they saw that coming, they are a bold-faced liar. And not that the Packers won, but how they won and how dominating it was. A first half for the ages. You're talking about oogles of playoff games that both the Cowboys and the Packers have played. And historically, that first half was as bad as the Cowboys have ever played in a playoff game, and that's as good as the Packers have ever played in a playoff game. And it was offense, it was defense, it was Jordan Love dealing, it was Matt LaFleur dialing it up, it was the defense creating turnovers.
And I said that was going to be a factor. They had to do it, and they did.
What in the world got into this Green Bay Packer football team yesterday is they need to bottle it up. They need to save it. They need to continue doing this, because that type of performance is a performance that can play with anybody in the National Football League. And I'll tell you, the best part about this is a team that at one stretch this season didn't win for 42 days.
Incredible.
This is a team that at Lambeau Field was getting booed the third game of the season. This is a team that at one point in time was getting booed because they couldn't get a first down until 4 minutes left in the first half. There were boober. I want everybody to remember, because this should be called Receipt Monday, right? Everybody that
Print them out.
Everybody that hated the Jordan Love pick when we all said, you got to wait. You have to wait. You don't know about a pick for a quarterback who's not going to start until he eventually starts. One thing's true in the NFL. When you're a first-round pick as a quarterback, you're going to start.
You're going to get
one thing that's unknown, you don't know when that's going to be. If it's a Green Bay Packer quarterback, if it's everybody else, you're starting first year. Green Bay Packer quarterback, might have to wait a couple years.
Yeah, preschool age, K4.
Receipts on that. People hated the fact that we said, you got to wait for 3 years. We don't want to wait for 3 years. We want to win now. We have to win now. And I understand you get a weapon or you get a defensive difference maker with that pick. Maybe things are different in 2021, 2022, 2020, those 3 years. Maybe, just maybe. But we are not where we're at right now, on the cusp of shocking the world type greatness and a longevity that looks clearer than it has with Rodgers as our quarterback the last few years. This is a Green Bay Packer team poised to do much damage for the foreseeable future. And we're not even there yet.
That's
we
crazy.
Still have time to play this year. It is fascinating. And I also want the receipts to be kept on all those that were booing during that little bad stretch, because it just goes to show you, you actually do need to play in football games to learn how to play in football games.
John, think about how you were feeling on the sidelines that Viking game, right? Like what before Cousins second half off the field, and that's I believe that's the game, correct me if I'm wrong, where Matt LaFleur sprints off the field and has to get called back onto the field because the missed field goal to end the half, there was a penalty. So they're like, hey, coach, we're going to kick it again. Hey, you didn't get shut out in the first half. Come on back here. Don't worry. We're going to kick it one more time. That was the lowest of the lowest point for this Packers team. And this becomes the absolute high when you peak at a time that becomes very dangerous for everybody else in pro football. Like it is as cliche as it comes, but they have played their best ball, especially on the offensive side. And on defense, we can say what we want, but Joe Barry's going to need some flowers over at his front doorstep here today. I think Joe Barry's going to have himself, I would imagine,
that edible arrangement. You know,
he's going to have himself a nice skinny vanilla latte, no foam this morning.
Oh man, he probably
getting himself a venti, no grandes in this household after that victory. I mean, like the amount of satisfaction that has to be rolling through that building. If only they could listen to the masterfully mixed Monday montage by our guy Armin Sarian, they would be able to feel even better on this We Need the Receipts Victory Chicken Monday.
A lot of receipts today, and everyone's printing those receipts out on Twitter. It's like CVS out here. You know those long receipts you get from CVS?
Armin, I have people searching my Twitter history to find out what I'm saying about Jordan Love.
They're trying
2020 from way back in 2020. And I've always maintained this. We don't know. The last thing I'm going to do is dog somebody before we ever actually know. Oh, terrible pick. This is stupid. You got Aaron Rodgers, just terrible pick.
White hot.
Hey, you could make the claim that they should have got somebody else and they should have gone all in. But the recipe that the Packers dial up creates masterpieces, and it creates a conducive place for quarterbacks to come in and be able to succeed. Aaron Rodgers did it. Now Jordan Love is doing it. And the crazy part is it's almost as if people did not know that you have to actually play in regular season games to get the experience and to get the exposure to defenses and to get the exposure to the speed of the game to be able to pick things up. Listen, so many game balls to be given out yesterday. Aaron Jones was absolutely spectacular.
He's playing so special right now.
But Jordan Love, do people understand what we're watching?
It's transcendent. It's transcendent. It's amazing.
It's fascinating. There are a handful of people, quarterbacks in this world that can do what he is doing. He is absolutely firing up defenses. He has the answer pre-snap to everything they show him, and he has the gifts and the tools to make it work post-snap, especially when it's what he anticipates, but even when it's not what he anticipates, he's able to make things work. That throw to Luke Musgrave down the sideline, the play I like to call blank, because that's what defenses say when the quarterback turns around to throw it back the other way.
That guy's on the field.
Why delay or whatever what is that? I'm sure, was that supposed to be that?
Why sneak? Why hide? Why ghost? Whatever
play
the
from the
hell
first
you want to
week.
call it. It's the play from the first week. It's the play from the third week. They've run it multiple times. They've never run it to the quarterback's left because you're not supposed to be able to turn, hitch, and cork that thing down the field like that. Not as a right-hander. Jordan Love can. It's what we are witnessing is spectacular play from the quarterback position. Out of all the games we watched this weekend, so far, he was the best quarterback.
Yes.
Out of the best 7 or 14 out of the best 14 teams, 7 on the NFC, 7 on the AFC, out of the best 14 teams, he's had the best game. And I'll beg to press the point that he's going to finish with the best quarterbacking weekend after tonight's games as well.
Yeah, if Josh Allen, Armin, does something better in the snow here today,
7 tutties,
you can change our mind, or Jalen Hurts does it with a broken, dislocated finger. It has been a masterpiece. I don't know that we've seen somebody be able to. CJ Stroud's going to get a lot of headlines. Their numbers are almost identical for what they did. Yeah, but CJ Stroud's going to get a lot more notoriety because their draft evaluations are a lot closer, and they remember what they were saying coming into the pre-draft so that they can dunk more on being right. or feeling validated on it. This one flew under the radar. And again, here for the first 10 minutes of the 15 minutes of the Four Letter Networks program, they've only talked about the star on the helmet, not the G on the helmet.
Which you knew they were gonna, and that's okay. And I'm sure they'll get. I did see Stephen A. wear a Packers hat, and Stroud has done a great job, and he'll get the flowers he deserves. Especially they'll be talking about it in Houston, but it is incredible what Jordan Love's been doing. And you can see jumps from these guys every now and then, quarterbacks and stuff, but to see it mid-season like this is what's so incredible. But even early in the year, I remember, with all the penalties and all the miscommunications and things weren't quite right. I remember thinking, I didn't expect this. Nobody did. But I said, like, there are plays there to be made, and they just have to execute better and stop making mistakes and make them. And the way it's come together has really been incredible. And it's one of those things, you talk about receipts. I don't think any of us saw this in his first year playing, but there are some people that were ready to throw it out right away. And I remember a couple years ago, and there was this, should we trade Love if Rodgers comes back? I said, you still have a lottery ticket there. Like, maybe it's a long shot that he'll become a great quarterback. Is just by the numbers, right? Just by the numbers of guys drafted. It's like, what are the chances of a guy becoming a great quarterback? But there is a lottery ticket there. Don't just throw them out. You never know what could happen. And what do I always say to you, Billy? You never know how those cookies are going to do until you fully bake them. You have got to fully bake the cookies.
And I am an impatient joker.
And a lot of people are. So they want this cookie dough to cook right away. And I get it. But the Packers have done something, like you said, John, no other teams have been doing. That's bake these cookies for longer than everybody else. Like, we're going to be patient. We're going to let this thing bake. Good problem to have, because we already have a quarterback behind, and it's worked out, and it's been working out again to a level you can't say anyone else has been playing better. I agree. You cannot tell me that Brock Purdy's a better quarterback right now going into next week.
Well, we're going to find out this weekend.
Confident we're going to find out a better quarterback.
We're going to find out this weekend. We're going to see Purdy and Jordan Love on the same football field. And this is the spectacular thing about Jordan Love. Within one season, within one football season, 17 regular season games and an 18th playoff game. I went from, okay, it's not going to look, but maybe he can manage a game. It's not going to look like Aaron Rodgers,
the same.
It's not going to look the same, but maybe he can manage a game. And you know what? He managed that first game in Chicago. He manifested a come from behind victory against the New Orleans Saints, right? It wasn't pretty the first month of the season. And then they went through a slide where it was, quite frankly, it was disgusting. It was ugly, and balls were dropped and balls were high and things were messed. Sacks were coming and the line looked bad. And a quarterback playing at a high level makes everybody look so much better. 0 sacks last night for the Green Bay Packers in this football game.
Amazing.
And then he started, and then it was a loss in Pittsburgh. I said, that's the best game Jordan Love's played, guys. He was really efficient right there.
Yeah, he did.
He's starting to strike a little bit on the deep balls. And now it's to the, and then, all he has to get is a little consistency on the deep balls, because he's figured out the check down. He figured out the timing of the game. He's figured that out. And then it turned into, wow, he made a spectacular throw this game. And then it turned to, he made 4 spectacular throws this game. And now it's, he might not make an MVP. Now he might make an MVP in the National Football League. Yes. That's the level he's playing at. And he's done it several weeks, several months in a row now, to the point where this is consistency. This is consistency of not good football, but great football. And I'm not willing to bet Jordan Love can't do anything that he sets his mind out to. That's how good he's playing for a consistent period of time in this football season. I'm willing to say Jordan Love and this Packers team, they can do just about anything.
Yeah, those 2 months where we didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback, MVP style quarterback, were really tough. Those 2 months now that I've lived without a MVP style quarterback, pretty tough.
I hate to say it like this, and this really sucks to say it like this.
All right, so just do it.
But we haven't had an MVP style quarterback for about a year and a half.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Aaron
didn't have it last year,
right?
We didn't have it last year.
John,
that quarterback play last year was not it. The quarterback play the second half of this year, that's it. That's Green Bay Packer quarterback football, and we forgot what it looked like for about.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice.
I would like to say this before we get too far afield, since you brought it up. Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's good to see the LaFleur offense run correctly," and a guy hasn't hit. Look, we don't have to do this. We don't have to disparage the last guy just to enjoy this one. We can have room in your heart for multiple heroes. I see so much of every time Jordan Love has a great game, it has to be about Aaron Rodgers. Let's just celebrate Jordan Love. We don't have to do it. Aaron Rodgers did have the second EPA per play in the league.
Oh, so
when
you
he was
don't
playing.
So you don't like Brian and
let's just admit both guys that played great. Both guys are playing great, and we're blessed to have both. Let's just say that, right? Okay.
Or
right, go ahead.
No, or you look at it on the other side.
All right, what
Brian
is it?
in Milwaukee said Favre beat San Francisco, couldn't beat Dallas. Rodgers beat Dallas, couldn't beat San Francisco. Love has a chance to become an absolute legend on Saturday night and vanquish both.
Absolutely. That's what we want. That's exactly what we want. He could do it. Maybe quite a run to win both games in the road.
Brian in Milwaukee also then said, also, we're putting up 42 on Saturday. Listen, I don't know if 42 is coming down the pike. If it does, well, then it's Detroit, Philadelphia, or Tampa Bay. Here we go. Packers beat the Dallas Cowboys. Throttle Big Mike and the boys. 414-799-1973 is your place to celebrate on the talk and text line with us. It's a Victory Chicken Monday. Where's the spicy order? Better find it out here in the next 2.5 hours. John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian. Fantastic work today on the montage. Fantastic work by our Green Bay Packers, earning us one more week. Back after this, 9 to noon on the game.
Like the girls who ain't on TV because they got more than the models. The good life, so keep it coming with the bottles. So she feel booze like she bombed at Apollo. The good life, it feel like Houston, it feel like Philly, it feel like DC, it feel like VA, or the Bay, or yay. Hey, this is the good life.
And he takes the snap, fakes the handoff, tight pocket, throws it, intercepted back the other way. It's going to be a pick six for third. Now 7. Oh my goodness.
He had a lot to do with it yesterday. Jordan Love, one misfire after Sean Clifford already entered the game away from the first ever playoff debut perfect passer rating. One just off the fingernails of Tucker Kraft. I mean, some folks potentially on Packers OT had a Tucker Kraft receiving yards prop that, would have potentially hit there if he turns that on a field that we would have been celebrating.
Ooh.
But listen, somebody also on Packers OT turned off the Bucs game down 4 with 13 seconds to go. Big day for Wisconsin yesterday. Big day for Wisconsin sports fans yesterday as Dame time finally enters Fiserv Forum.
That was awesome.
Darnell Savage with a Tramon Williams-esque pick 6 in Big D, and the Packers are sending it to Santa Clara to take on the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round Saturday night. Our network coverage for the 7:15 kickoff will start up at 5. That's when John Kuhn will be on the sidelines, when Wayne Larrivee and Larry McCarron are up in the booth, and you boys set the scene out in Santa Clara. Now, we got plenty of time to do that. But as you arrived yesterday, John, and got ready for that open, could you feel any bit of confidence rolling through the Packers? Because I don't know about anybody else. I picked the Packers to lose on Friday on the show. And then as I was driving in yesterday, first I woke up yesterday with a remarkable amount of confidence that the Packers were going to win that game.
Yeah, you did. You texted me right away. You did.
I sent Armin a text. It's happened. Convinced myself they're going to win the game. 28-24. And as I'm driving in, I'm laughing to myself out loud, saying, how on earth are you so confident a 7-point dog is going to win the game outright? And then it went to, they're either going to win in thrilling fashion or they're going to get run right up out of the building, and it's going to be one of the most painful 5.5 hours that I've ever done in broadcasting. And instead, it was one of the only scenarios, John, that I did not anticipate. They dominated at the line of scrimmage. Like, we watch Aaron Jones running through so many holes, and he did. He made a lot of guys miss. He was able to finish some runs. But the way they were moving that Dallas front and defensive line as well, controlling a line with 3 All-Pros on the other side. Line of scrimmage on both sides was one of the major factors. We'll talk about 10, we'll talk about 87, 23, 26, and everybody else. But those 5 and 4 on the offense and defensive lines establish it early. And that was one of the biggest reasons why they were able to just throw the Cowboys around there late into the second quarter, into the third.
Yeah, I mean, did I feel confidence from? Yes, you always, every team is confident when they go out there. They have a plan. They're going to execute their plan. They're confident that they can execute their plan. But, something crazy happens once the game starts, right? A ball bounces funny. A call goes a certain way. A player makes a play, and all of a sudden things start to change. And maybe people start pressing and going a little bit faster or doing things a little bit out of their character, and the other team just completely takes advantage of each and every opportunity. I thought the start of that football game was a mixture of the Green Bay Packers being calm and collected. I mean, they had a plan in there. They chose to take the ball, and Matt LaFleur is probably going to choose to take the ball a lot more often now.
Don't change anything, right?
Because it's worked in all 3 games that he's decided to do it this year. And
yeah, that's the first thing he did that made you think, okay, what's happening here? They're not kicking, because most teams it's industry standard now, John. They choose it first.
I've always looked twice at this thing ever since Thanksgiving, because that was the first time, I think in 2 years that he decided to accept the football after winning the coin toss, and he took the deep shot. So now every time he receives the ball after winning the coin toss, I think to myself, here comes a YOLO, here comes a yeet ball. Not necessarily the case, but in the case of this football game, you wanted to get a lead against Dallas. You wanted to play downhill. You didn't want this thing to play in their hands. You wanted it to play in yours. And it went that way. And there was a call on the second play of the game. Deron Bland illegal contact downfield on a sack of Jordan Love, which would have been the first sack of the game. On the second play of the game, he never got sacked again, so he finishes the day with 0 sacks. But I think, man, if that call doesn't happen and they're faced with a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 on the first third down of the game, and it was loud in there to start, could this thing have unraveled differently? Yes, it could have unraveled differently. Doesn't mean that the outcome would have been different, just means it could have unraveled differently. But it was that call combined with Jordan Love a few plays later holding on to the ball just long enough to get it down the field to Romeo Doubs running across the middle. And now the floodgates are open. Now the Packers are playing free, they're playing open, and the Cowboys are saying, dang, all right, we got to catch up here. We got to find a way. We got to do this in a hurry. I thought the Cowboys game plan was actually kind of poor, to be honest with you. And I hate to say that because that it might signal. There's a lot of people talking about pitchforks and torches right now down there in Dallas, ready to come in there and just clean out all the desks. Get the big cardboard boxes out. Dak, pack up your desk. McCarthy, pack up your desk. Dan Quinn, you know what? That was a young Packer offense. You pack up your damn desk. You're out
you
too.
Get out of here too.
You might get a head coach job somewhere else, but you're out too. I mean, so I thought the game plan for the Cowboys wasn't great. I thought the game plan for the Packers was exceptional. And I thought the Packers players played better than the Cowboys players.
That was it, man.
Which in a game like that, you're surprised by. At the end of the game, I can understand if the Cowboys were feeling pressure. At the beginning of the game, the Cowboys, you know how many big games Brandon Cooks has played in? You know how many big games Dak has played in? You know how many big games CeeDee Lamb has played in? Tyron Smith, their entire offense. I mean, that team has played in a boatload of big games already, and they looked unprepared against the Green Bay Packers. To me, Billy, it looked like the Packers were ready to come in here and play a playoff game against the juggernaut, and it looked like the Cowboys did not give the Packers their due respect.
No, it looks like the Cowboys anticipated they were going to roll the helmets on out. And you bring that up of the fortunate, I think is the best way to put it. Because again, that's a ticky-tack call that goes against the home team, and it goes against an all-pro. Like Deron Bland set an NFL record for 6 pick sixes this year and went first team all-pro from the Players Association. So like that's a heralded defense. And then 2 plays later, even after they get a TFL on Aaron Jones, the next play, it's 2nd and 13 when they pick up 22 from Doubs. And there were a couple of those chunk plays to Romeo where he was just wide open in the middle of the field. And Love had enough time to manipulate the pocket and make them cover for 4 seconds and make them make a play. You brought this up maybe 2 weeks ago, and maybe I think it was after the Minnesota game, of his ability. And frankly, I mean, some would say a little bit overconfidence. My man does not care how close a defender is to him. He is going to let you get there, get close, flick of the wrist, the ball is gone. Like the quick, sudden release that Love has been able to utilize and allowing and inviting pressure to him and being able to throw the ball at the last possible second on the dot has been remarkable. And like the receipts that are being pulled, one right over here. I mean, at 2 and 5, I was ready to fire up some Tank Radio. 3 and 6, I had some thoughts on some, top 5, top 7 picks. My man Joe Alt was already potentially going to have a personalized Packers jersey, and instead they're going to be picking in the 20s, and they're playing on January 20th.
Right. The last thing we're thinking about now is draft. Right. Draft selection.
They're playing on January 20th, right? And they've done it now with arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, at least at this moment. You look at all the metrics for the last 9 to 10 weeks, much every number is in Jordan Love's favor. And when CeeDee Lamb was getting talked to, John, I mean, you're on the other sideline, so you can see
he was done after 2 drives, like the way he was getting talked to.
After the first drive, McCarthy goes over and is like calming down CeeDee Lamb on the sidelines. I ran in by Armin, who was a basket case. I mean, you want to talk about an electric factory. You go and watch Armin Sari. He hates when I walk into that studio when you're producing the game.
I love it and I don't hate it.
Yeah, you do hate it. It's okay. You just said you hate it.
But I love it because I want to freak out with you, but I don't want to lose my focus, but I'm excited, but I don't want to get too excited. It's just a totally like kaleidoscope of emotions, going on.
CeeDee Lamb's like, dude, give me the ball. Mike's like, hey man, we're getting there. Holy cow. They're cracking over on that other sideline after one drive.
It was incredible.
The Packers had the number one offense in the NFL. I'll say it again. The Cowboys were the number one offense in the NFL. They averaged 38 points a game at home, which was by far the best in the NFL. They had plus 10 turnover differential at home in the NFL. And the Packers were one play away from keeping them scoreless in the first half. They were Devondre Campbell. Honestly, they were Devondre Campbell interception.
Yes.
The ball was right in his hands.
Oh my God.
It was a Devondre Campbell interception away of being plus 3 turnover differential and 27-0 at half against the best offense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Joe Barry's cooking. The Packers defense is cooking. Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love are cooking. And which wide receiver do you want to cover? That's the question I want you to ask. What wide receiver one? Anyone, because we got a bunch of guys that can compete.
And you can't measure the human condition. That's what makes this game so great. It's humans playing it. You can put all these guys on paper. You can put them in a video game. You can say this many all pros versus this many, this much experience versus this much. But when you get them between the white lines, you don't know what's going to happen. You know who's going to react. You don't know who's going to play well, who's going to turtle. You know what I mean? And the Cowboys were that team last night. They walked into that stadium, I believe, nervous. I believe the fans walked in there nervous and tight. It felt like, to me, what it felt like when Brewers fans walked into game one of the playoffs. I hate to bring it up right now.
Well, but
just
I'll say
ready
this
for
too.
something bad to happen, you know?
But I'm going to say this too. Now we got Bowser.
Now we got Bowser.
Now we have Bowser. And Bowser just watched what we did to King Koopa, right? He's going to be
We got to get to that green space, John.
He's
Got to
gonna
get to that green space.
They will not. The 49ers will not take the Green Bay Packers lightly. Kyle Shanahan will not take Matt LaFleur lightly in this one. This one's a different beast. The Cowboys, number one offense, top 5 defense. But AT&T Stadium, they're about to name that Packers Stadium. I mean, the Packers have never lost in that building. It's starting to get comical now. 49ers is a whole different ballgame.
You were working throughout the game. Wikipedia, folks were in their bag. At one point, Aaron Jones was the mayor of Dallas. At one point, he was the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He was the owner of AT&T Stadium. It's been a fun day. It was a fun day yesterday throughout, and it's been fun celebrating already. We got our 2 Cowboy Nooners who have already weighed in.
Let's hear it for them.
We'll hear it for them, and we'll hear from them coming up. And this stat about taking the ball, John, you touched on it when the change kind of flipped for the Green Bay Packers. It was that Detroit game, taking the ball, scoring first. Little stat from the playoffs in the last 5 years, staggering difference from what the Packers decided yesterday and how the script played out after the Packers score first, scored often. 48-32 dismantling of the Dallas Cowboys. We're discussing it with you all right now. It's 9 to noon on the game.
greatest. Turn the music up in the headphones. Tim, you can go and brush your shoulder off. If you feeling like a pimp,
That was
I just wanted it twice.
That's every Packers fan as Matt LaFleur celebrates with every member of the Packers in the locker room post game, rattles off all the winners, and Luke Musgrave staying on his feet and catching himself a touchdown pass might be the biggest upset in a 48-32 win for the Green Bay Packers. Welcome back. It's 9 to noon on the game. 414-799-1973 is the phone number to get in touch with the program, and we will keep the reaction rolling into the second hour. Generally, Matt Schneidman joins us at 10. Many people remember his travel issues that he was having on Friday.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
He gets to Dallas in time, gets there on Friday night around midnight. He'll be able to tell us the whole story in excruciating detail.
We'll hear it
coming
all
up here at some point during the program. I'm thinking during the third hour. He said he lands in Minneapolis around 10:30.
Yeah, because he's delayed again. So listen, to be expected that there's going to be delays out of Dallas because, right, John, there was some unexpected.
He wasn't the only one.
Inclement weather last night, and they're not equipped like we are. They don't really. I'm not going to say they run from the grind down there in Dallas, but they don't embrace it. They're not ready for it like we are. So when they get a dusting, it's all
they
hands
don't
on
have
deck.
to grind through this.
Well, no, and I get that, but he's a little delayed, so he's flying to Minneapolis. I'm tracking it, and we'll get him. Well, I'm just preparing. I'm producing the show. Okay.
What time does it say it's going to land?
Let me just get an update here because there's a lot.
Clearly not tracking it at the moment.
Well, there's a lot of flights.
He's tracking.
Yeah, tracking it, but I'm not tracking it at the time right now.
Yeah, I was getting us ready with sound and everything. That was not my first priority. You're correct. How many flights you think go from Minneapolis?
Well, you wanted
Dallas
to brag about saying you were tracking it, and then you weren't tracking it. You expect me not to give you some crap for
I'm
that?
tracking it right now. What time?
I'm tracking it right now. Hold on one second.
No.
Hold on one second here.
Oh, if he's on
1 second here.
I'm assuming he's taking Delta flight, right? Because he's been on the Delta flight last time. Probably not taking the American flight. So I'm figuring all these things out, right? And
I like American.
Yeah. So. Well, this one
take an American flight.
Well, he could. He might have gone.
He's an American.
Do the one way, and not. Yeah, actually, that probably is more likely because he had to kind of reschedule and take those last second flights. Remember, out of Minneapolis. So I'm thinking he's on the Delta. But if he's on the American flight, then he's landing at 9:47, which means we are going to try and get him on. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens.
47.
That just happened. So
yeah, he said he was landing at 10:30.
So 11:17. 11:17 is the update. It's an hour and 30 minutes late.
Sounds like Armin isn't tracking the flight.
He's tracking, but he's not sure.
Instead, let me tell you about the Palermo's pizza we had yesterday. It was fantastic. Palermo's made right here in Wisconsin, almost 60 years. New and improved flavors. We had stuffed crust yesterday and the Surfer Boy. Usually I'm telling you about the Rising Crust and Primo Thins. That stuffed crust was serious. And we were putting cheese on everything, as Rashawn Gary would like to say, in a Packer beatdown of Dallas yesterday. Find Palermo's in your frozen food aisle. Palermo's flavor is our family's business.
I just wish this dude would pay for Wi-Fi so we could get him on the plane. Now, wouldn't that be epic if we could get him on the plane?
Well,
no,
I don't know that that's a good thing because when I start pushing his buttons, we don't need Matt getting too irritated on the plane and then getting put on some kind of no-fly list, right? Like we can't have him.
Sudden he's getting escorted. He's getting escorted off the plane, and he's like, "That mother is not real."
Speaking of her,
yeah, she was at the game. She was at the game.
Did you see that yesterday, John? That Tiffany Gomez was at the game yesterday.
No, I didn't know I was supposed to follow her on social media.
Well,
because is she a celebrity now?
She is, and she's with your Barstool.
Is she a celebrity or is she just viral? Like, there's a difference.
I'm gonna give her credit because a lot of people go viral and don't build it into a whole business. Like,
she's doing it.
She's built it into a business already.
She has. I mean, she's got it.
She's like in marketing though, so I think that kind of makes sense of it.
Well, IMDb, she isn't like in movies. What do you mean, or in TV shows? But she's dating a Barstool guy.
What's her LinkedIn say? Then what's her LinkedIn say?
Well, Hank from Pardon My Take. I don't know if they're dating. I know that they were trying to set her up.
Friends with benefits.
Yeah, they were trying to set him up with her when they came in and interviewed her. And she said, "No, I didn't see anything." Actually, they're like, "Okay, well, this is lewd. This is lame. Why don't you at least go and date Hank?" So she brought Hank, their producer, to the game. They bet on the over-under. One of them was going to have to jump in the pool since, it was freezing cold and snowing out in Dallas where you guys were trying to exit yesterday. your boy went into the pool, got out, ran into her house, and then put a hole in the wall because he slipped, fell, and smashed his knee right on into the wall. It was masterful to watch a Cowboy fan in a Prescott jersey soaking wet out of a pool that's about 41 degrees run into the house and face plant into some drywall. That made the end of the night even better on social media.
Yeah, social media, reality television.
Right.
At
It was
its
great.
best
It was great.
Right
Yeah.
there.
What's even real and what's
Celebrity.
not even anymore? Yeah, celebrity. So it is crazy. By the way, Steinman's over Oklahoma right now. I don't need to hear your stuff, but I don't know about tracking, and I'm not tracking. I know exactly what's going on with Matt Steinman. All right.
It's probably not even the same flight that he's on. You guys want to hear from Dan and Drew, our two Cowboy Nooners, here quickly before the break?
What do they have to say?
Dan and Elkhorn, I'll get this in early since I'll be fighting the snow and ice all day. Congrats, Packers. Told you Dallas was a better matchup than Detroit. And thank you, Packers, for slapping Jerry Jones in the face regarding his highly successful football coach. Well, no news out of Dallas yet. There is news that there will be a coaches meeting at 11, meeting with the players at noon for Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys there in Frisco.
Yeah, and big respect to him. And
I don't
Drew.
know if we ever doubted the Cowboys in the matchup. I don't know if you say we say Cowboys, Lions, Eagles. If the Packers play the way they played yesterday, does it even matter? We said there was one team and one team only. Bowser. 49ers. That's the only thing everything else we said with Jordan Love playing the way he's playing, with Aaron Jones being Showtime again. He's put on a cape. He's going into a phone booth. He's come out. He's got his gear on. Showtime, like the Marvel character Showtime, is what Aaron Jones has been right now. You pair him up with the way Jordan Love's playing. I mean, who else? Who else other than the 49ers in the NFC? I'm not afraid of anybody.
Yeah, the boogeyman comes up on Saturday. You say who else? I want to ask you that question on the other side here, John.
They beat the
With
49ers
Showtime.
on Saturday. They're going to the Super Bowl.
They're winning. Yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. If
Oh
they beat
my
the 49ers.
gosh, I know. This is why I got goosebumps when he said
But
that.
very 2023 Packers-esque. They'll beat the Niners and then lose in Detroit by 3 scores in the NFC title game. The once you think you've cracked the code on this
Sure.
freaking team,
I get it. The
they'll
clock
go
strikes
"Whoop!"
midnight. Yeah.
Complete opposite side. What other running back? Now, maybe it's the only one with the boogeyman, and he's there with Bowser in the 49ers. Drew Olson asked me this yesterday after his 3rd touchdown. Recency bias up the wazoo.
Of course.
What running backs are you taking over Showtime? 414-799-1973. I'll let you cook with that and write them down during the break because I started out and I said, all right, Christian McCaffrey. And then it took me a little bit to write down a couple of more names.
I'd say, just off the top real quick, I'd say Saquon. But, I mean, that's 2.
It's still playing.
That's 2. There's not another on the top of my head that I'm just riffing off here.
Yeah, I'll let you think about it during the break and try to see if you can. People on Talking Text Line can as well at 414-799-1973. Reaction Hour is open as we celebrate MLK Day with you and celebrate a Packers 48-32 win in Big D in Super Wild Card Weekend. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Airplane, sorry I'm late. I'm on my way, so don't close that.
One more time.
All-time record now sits at 5-4 between the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys in playoff meetings. In that lead, it goes to the green and gold. It was broken yesterday, 48-32 in grand fashion, and it wasn't that close. Clifford, the big red dog, was in the game before Dallas scored those final two mop-up scores. John, what was the feeling on the sideline when all of a sudden you looked over and like, oh, wait, Sean Clifford's warming on up here, and we got 13 minutes left in this game?
I was wondering why go back to Aaron Jones and
same thing.
Jordan Love later in the game, man. Matt LaFleur said he wished he never took him out. I was pissed. I didn't want anybody getting hurt. Too valuable. This game's out of reach. I understand. Listen, things can get screwy in a hurry in the NFL.
We know
the Cowboys scored about 32 points yesterday in mop-up time and all this and that. But no, I knew Sean Clifford. Hey, here's the crazy part. There was a point in time right before the Wicks touchdown where Sean Clifford ran out to the huddle right before the play got called in the huddle. Packers, it was
really, we didn't see that on TV.
It was something completely unusual that I'd never really seen before. Sean Clifford ran out to the huddle. Jordan Love stepped out of the huddle. They whispered something to each other. And then Sean Clifford ran back to the sideline and said something to Matt LaFleur. There's something about that play, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm getting this little intuition here that Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love were in between plays and Sean Clifford ran out because Matt can talk to Jordan, but Jordan can't talk to Matt. It's not like a walkie-talkie. It's not like, let's go green right, 32 slam. Coach, I don't like that. Breaker. We got to go with something. It's not like that.
Interesting.
Matt calls the play, and Jordan can, Jordan, I don't know if he can, but Aaron used to go, no, new play.
We're not running
and
that.
Matt would give him a new play. Potentially, and they could go that way, or he would go, okay, I got it. Yeah, we're rolling. There was something with this that they needed to know something from Jordan. The only reason you'd send a player out to talk to the quarterback was to get feedback from the quarterback.
From the quarterback, yeah. To get an answer
I have
from
a
him.
feeling Jordan Love called that play, the touchdown to Dontavian Wicks. It's something about it just resonates with me that he called that play based off of Clifford running out there, because he would run out there for no other reason than to get information for Matt LaFleur. Matt can't run out there. He's not a player. He can't run out.
Well, he doesn't want to blow that Achilles like he did playing basketball when he first got the job.
Boom.
Matt LaFleur talked about it with Albert Breer of the Monday Morning Quarterback, and he wrote it up in his article this morning here, John, about that exact play. And his best play of the day vividly illustrated this from Albert Breer's piece. The level in which Love is operating right now. It's a healthy distance from where he was in the beginning of the year. It came on a 3rd and 7 from the Dallas 20 when the Packers up 14-0 with 3:23 left before halftime.
That's it.
First, LaFleur asked for. Love gave him the play call for the situation. Then, as Love approached the line, he identified a zero blitz, adjusted the protection, kept extra blockers in to combat it. After that, stood in the face and delivered maybe the best ball with Marquise Bell coming free. Love flicked the wrist, dropped a dime to Dontavian Wicks for a touchdown. With that strike, the game was effectively over. LaFleur told Albert Breer after the game he saw a zero blitz right away, maxed it up. Tucker did a great job. O-line did a great job to allow those routes to work, and usually you can't hold up that well when somebody all-outs you. So they called it the play before. He audibled out of it, and he said, look back at LaFleur, said, run it again. That's, I believe, when he said, Clifford, what is he trying to say? That's when he said, no, run the same thing again. That's when they all outed him, throws the touchdown.
Wow.
Pass.
Yeah. So, and you could see the check at the line. And when they scored that touchdown, I said the Cowboys cannot stop Jordan Love and the Packers right now. They will not stop Jordan Love and the Packers right now because Cowboys were hoping to get home with 4, maybe 5. Couldn't do it. There was extra men to help pick up. So what do? If you want to rattle quarterback, you got to send more. And then when they send pressure, he could dial up a play to throw downfield with pressure bearing down on him and put it up. It It was spectacular. That play alone, and just the sequence of it. Clifford running out, Jordan saying something, him running back, getting to the line, making the protection adjustment, and then throwing that ball. And that ball was thrown perfectly.
Of course,
perfectly.
Yeah.
Right over the shoulder there of Dontavian Wicks for the touchdown. That play signifies Jordan Love playing at the top of his game, pre-snap and post-snap.
Greg here on the Talking Text Line. Question: why is Jordan Love not in MVP talks? Also, it's a good thing we don't have any Pro Bowlers since we will be in the Super Bowl. Can't play in the Pro Bowl there. Maybe a little too late for the MVP.
I think it's too late, but I asked that question 3 weeks ago, and I was rebuked with extreme prejudice. I was met with ridicule. I said, I don't think
prejudice is the right
word.
I
was with prejudice. I'm not
well,
saying
if you did it 3 weeks ago, Armin, it's before he beat the Cowboys and before he got any NFC Player of the Week.
It's a regular season award, but my point was that he's playing as well as anybody has been playing in the league right now. Yes, he's not going to win it because of early in the season, and it's a body of work. Jordan Love, whoever wins the MVP, Jordan Love will have better numbers then. Let's put it that way. He will. He'll have better numbers than them just on paper. I mean, unless you slice and dice it to different numbers, he's got this. He had the second most touchdown passes in the league. Am I not wrong about that? We think Lamar is going to win. Fine. He'll probably get the award and he deserves it. But man, Jordan Love is playing as well as anyone's playing right now. You cannot tell me walking in next week that Brock Purdy's the better quarterback, playing right now, right this moment. You can't tell me that. It's Jordan Love. It's absolutely the way Jordan's playing.
Well, now, I'm not how I feel on that matter.
I know how you feel. Yes. Now, maybe Brock's got the supporting cast, the defense. We know about all that. Maybe Brock will go out and play well. Maybe Jordan won't have his best game of the year. But right now, right this moment, you're taking Jordan. Just the question you just asked about the running backs, I'm taking Jordan as well.
So I did ask that question about the running backs.
John, you're taking Jordan at running back?
Well. Yeah, that'd be something, wouldn't it? If he could run the ball a little bit.
Listen, he tucks that bad boy in a little higher and tighter than he had against the Bears. Maybe it's a different question.
Would you like to see him run the ball more? I thought about that at different points of the season. It's not really his thing. I just think it's a threat he could execute and use sometimes. But right now he doesn't need to because everything he throws has been gold. So I'm not going to sit here and say don't throw it right now.
Yeah, I don't want him taking any additional shots they don't need to.
Yeah, there might be a point in time where I'm okay with him taking that chance every now and then to stretch it out. It's just not something he does a lot.
He got smacked one time by Parsons yesterday, and there's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. Somebody goes that high on them, they get a flag. Jordan Love's not getting any of the coverage, not getting any of the flags, but he's throwing the ball just as well as anybody else. There's a part of the MVP conversation that is a star treatment. There is a name brand cachet part of the equation, I believe, that you got to get to be in the like you got to get the invite to be in the party.
He'll be invited he'll be invited at the start of the season next year.
He'll be everyone's trendy pick next year.
He'll be
in
the top 10, top 5 somewhere there next year, no doubt, absolutely. Because it's kind of one of those things like MLB All-Star, right? You got to pick it halfway through the season.
That's what it is. Yeah.
What did they do the year before and then rolling into the season? You got to have a hot start to a season generally to win an MVP.
So I'm laughing at this one text that came in from our guy Chad and Merrill. I watched the game at a bar yesterday that gives out free shots after a Packers touchdown. I haven't been this hungover in a long time. I think there's a lot of Packers fans that are deliriously hungover with happiness and excitement from yesterday's game. There's one man that is not, and that's our friend Drew in Greenfield. Well, I got to eat my words, fellas. Played like absolute trash. The Packers handed the Cowboys their asses, no easy way or nice way to put it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Green Bay outplayed Dallas in every aspect of the game. I don't even have words for how I feel, at least that you can say cleanly on this radio station. Like I said, y'all deserved it. Green Bay played a fabulous game. I'll give all the credit where credit is due, even though it's more sour than telling your wife she's right. I'll give McCarthy credit. He's a great regular season coach, but that's 3 strikes and you're out for the playoffs. All I know is we need a coach that's going to instill discipline and put a stop to all these stupid nonsense penalties. Come on, Bill Belichick in that cutoff hoodie. Mike McCarthy got praised by Dak Prescott after the game. Prescott said, if he is on the hot seat, then I guess I am as well. Said, I didn't play this well. The reason why I played this well this year is because of him. The reason this team is here is because of him. They go out and fire him after that performance. I don't know that anybody will be stunned but I do think it's kind of a raw deal. I said it all last week that I thought he was gone if they lost to the Packers. I never thought it would go and look that way. Difficult to run everything back though after those losses, right? Like I just got to assume in that room, it's difficult today to then say 2024 is our year, fellas. What we got in this room is enough. We just got boat raced by the youngest team in the NFL, and the first 7 seed to ever win a playoff game came in here and almost hung 50 on us, but we got exactly what we need right here in this room.
The Cowboys are in the exact opposite position of the Green Bay Packers. They have a billion players, it feels like, that are up for free agency after this year. Big time name players they need to extend that aren't up for free agency. And they're in a world of hurt with the salary cap and how they're going to maneuver their roster, plus the coach, plus this was the year they were supposed to do it. The Packers are in the exact opposite situation. And it feels good. It feels good to be in that spot for once, because for several years we were in that spot that the Cowboys were in. Heartbreaking losses in the playoffs after, tremendous regular seasons and a team that looked like it was ready to get over that last hump. And now it looks like the Packers are not going to get over that last hump, but they're going to destroy that last hump on the way through. They're not even going to go over. They're just going to go through the damn thing at some point in time this year, next year, or in the very near future. They're going to steamroll that hump right through, as they got a bunch of young talent that is playing very, very well right now. I won't be surprised if McCarthy gets canned, but I want to ask you guys this. Is yesterday more embarrassing, or the flub that they had at the end of the 49ers at the end of the 2021 season? Remember when Dak tried to snap the ball and clock it, and it was a second too late, and they didn't have the ref touch it? I mean, everybody says McCarthy should be fired because that was executed so poorly. Well, you know what? That was one play, and people hated that. This was a billion plays. I mean, this was not just the Cowboys messing up on a play. This was the Cowboys getting outmanned, out schemed, out coached, out played, out executed, out everything.
Yeah, just smacked in the mouth. And that's why I think this one's worse, John. I was also one of the few people that kind of like the idea. They just executed it really poorly and didn't hand the ball to the official, who's got to spot it at that point and then put it on the ground and let the official kick it. Like, if that's executed properly, they get one shot at the end zone in 21. And we're not making, memes and faces about Mike for the entire 8 months of the offseason. That's systematic destruction of your one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Like, I think that is worse because it's a 60-minute display of dominance on the other side. They may have cost 2 head coaching jobs yesterday. It may be that Dan Quinn was dialed in hook, line, and sinker to be the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, because I believe the Allen family had him in mind. You don't fire Pete Carroll or tell Pete Carroll thanks but no thanks. You can go to be an advisor and we'll give you an office down the hall if you don't have somebody in mind. I believe they wanted Dan Quinn, and I believe Jody Allen's going to have to look herself in the mirror this morning and say, yeah, so that's who we want. I don't know that that's an easy decision to then all of a sudden go and hand Dan Quinn the keys to a Porsche or a Ferrari, or, in some cases, like if it's the Washington Commanders job, a Volkswagen, right? It's difficult for me to think that I'm just handing the keys to my organization off after that, because they really had no answer once, John, like you said, they were unable to do what they've done all year long, and that was get pressure with 4. That's what's going to be fascinating. I'm already looking ahead to San Francisco. I can't stop. I can't help myself. If you can hold off their pressure, because generally they're getting it with 4. One of the reasons they went and got Chase Young at the trade deadline, they got to bring some stuff. That's not what they do. You just stress them a little bit, get them outside of what they like to do, and things could get kind of interesting this Saturday. Finding ways.
And again, I go to, there's going to be a recipe in this game against San Francisco. And we got to talk about San Francisco a lot quicker, because this game's getting played Saturday night.
Yeah, a little fresher.
Games moved around, Monday night games.
Yeah, but we
2
got the
games
same
here
amount of days.
tonight. Hey, you guys ever want to really piss somebody off? Start joking about playing games in bad weather. People don't like that.
Oh yeah, you fired him up, John, on Twitter, on X.
What happened?
I saw John. You fired him up on that app.
I took 2 things that people are very impassioned about, like right down the middle on. 1, playing or not playing in bad weather, and 2, Peacock. If you use those 2 things in the same sentence or the same tweet, People lose their damn minds.
Well,
it was so much fun.
I think more people were defending Peacock than anything. I mean, they were telling you about all the shows they watch on Peacock. You got Real Housewives. Actually, because we got Peacock this weekend too. It's actually a pretty good app. There's a lot of shows on there.
I told you it's better than you were going to
think. The Saved by the Bell Redux, the new Saved by the Bell.
I asked, is it a top 10 app?
Yeah, but that's an easy threshold. There's not that many out there. Top 10?
There's way more than 10, that's for sure.
Whoa. There's more than what you think, Armin. Hold on.
Can I tell you why it's going to be top 3 for you? Free Royal Rumble, free WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Royal Rumble at the end of the month is gonna put the girls to bed. Pour yourself 3 fingers of your favorite liqueur and enjoy the Royal Rumble, and it's gonna be worth it.
This is why I said I don't need Peacock, right? Netflix, Apple TV, Paramount Plus, Max, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, Plex, Hulu, NFL Plus.
So I think that what was that 8 you just named?
No, 10.
That was 10. Plex.
And I'll throw YouTube. I'll throw YouTube Kids in there as a honorary mention.
Yeah,
YouTube Kids is pretty legit. I'm just learning that is pretty solid.
What is Plex? I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know what Plex is.
Look it up. You'll love it.
I watch Freebie on my Roku.
That sounded awesome. Brandy loved Plex. Okay, sounds awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing, John, about the weather.
Forgot OnlyFans on there too.
It was pretty bad there when you looked at it. I did like your tweet though. I was almost going to tweet the Mark Jackson meme. What happened to the game I love? But I didn't do it. I almost did, but I didn't.
Well,
do it.
Look at some pictures now. Folks are already saying there's no way they can play this game in 4 hours. There's no way they can play this game in 6 hours. They're playing the game in 6 hours. There's no way they're not playing this game at 4:30 Eastern time in Buffalo, right?
I think the NFL did actually botch this. They probably should have played this one at a neutral site like they did last year for Buffalo with the snowstorm, because they're going to have terrible weather yet again today. It's actually comical. And it's not comical because people have to drive and I'm not worried about their safety, people. It's just comical.
Sure, they were shaking.
That's gotten to this part.
I'm literally shaking, John.
One tweet about Peacock, weather, and what happened to my game. Oh my gosh, you're talking about the different avenues people were coming. Pew, 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 pew.
169 responses at Coon J30. Wow, this comment section is awesome.
Did you rattle the cage more with that or that Aaron Rodgers tweet on draft night when they drafted Jordan Love? That one rattled the cages too.
Oh, yeah,
this is fun. Wow.
Hey,
I'm gonna enjoy this.
By the way, before I forget, how about Jay Love banking an easy 500 large last night for another win? Boy, he's hitting all those escalators. He got $500,000 bonus for that win last night in his contract.
Escalators. No eels for the Packers quarterback.
That's a pretty good day at work, right? $500,000, $500,000. I haven't had a show like that.
Forget I made a G today. He made $500,000 yesterday.
500.
What do you think he's telling Mark Murphy? Bring me my money.
No, that's the scary thing, right? Jordan Love is about to get broken off this offseason.
Ken Ingalls was fighting with people yesterday where one guy said, yeah, but they still got to try to get him at the biggest discount possible.
Stop. There ain't no discounts. He plays this way for a reason.
Ain't no discounts.
Stop. Just stop. He's done this for a reason. This is the way the service exchange works. You want him to play great for your team and produce memorable wins, and he's done it. Now you got to pay him the money. That's why.
Do I got to tip him?
Good job. No tip. Good job on Mark and Russ creating this type of contract. It's providing for both sides. That's a great job by Mark and Russ Ball, and a great job by Jordan fulfilling
Joe Burrow money.
Tell him to bring me my money. We got the incentives. That's what it is. And I think there's a big Super Bowl incentive. Go all the way. They would love to cut that check. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't think they're all that upset about cutting that check. No, I don't think that's an issue if they got to pay that money. 414-799-1973. We'll talk about some money. We'll talk about some investments coming up in the third hour. We hope to hang out with our guy Matt Schneidman at some point during the third hour. Not positive that's going to happen, but Armin's got 4 different flights that he thinks he might be on. We'll see if Matt Schneidman joins us, because he's been going from sea to shining sea, even though it's all ice over the United States here so far. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Freezing cold temperatures embarking here in Wisconsin, and we don't complain about it here. We just throw on an extra pair of socks. But if it's a little bit chillier in your house, well, when the weather outside is frightful, your energy bill could be much more delightful. By replacing drafty windows and doors, you can dramatically lower your energy costs in your homes and look good while doing it. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin offers some of the most energy efficient windows in all of the industry, designed to keep that cold outside right where it belongs. And you can kick your January blues when you choose to book by the 31st for 0% interest up to 36 months. You heard that right. No interest, 36 months if you book by January 31st. Pella's got premium wood windows and patio doors that feature distinguished craftsmanship and nearly endless possibilities with maximum design flexibility, custom colors, dramatic sizes, finishes, profiles, product types, and a whole lot more. You can choose between traditional or contemporary looks and start enjoying a warmer home with lower energy bills today. You need that in January. So hurry, get 0% interest for up to 36 months when you book by January 31st. All you have to do is visit PellaWI.com and tell them John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions may apply. See showroom for details.
outside, round the outside. Two trailer park girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.
Guess who's back? Back again. Detroit's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Detroit was back in the playoffs last night for the first time in my lifetime at home. They had a couple of moonlight appearances in Seattle and in Dallas in the 2010s, but last night tears were flowing after the 24-23 win for the Motor City Kitties. And Aiden Hutchinson, with one of my favorite drops fellas throughout the season, had no idea what happened in the previous game. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, maybe he was just playing dumb. My man said, be honest with you, I think all of us wanted to play Dallas one more time, but it is a blessing to be able to be back in the state of Michigan. Damn, state of Michigan, state of football right now. I mean, not many people have it better than them.
It's kind of like Indiana in basketball, right?
Nobody.
Armin?
Yeah, I would say that they're in the mix. I mean, it's like Indiana basketball, but
in the mix.
Well,
they just had a parade 3 days
Michigan.
ago, and they just won themselves their first playoff game. And
so that's my point.
Their football rejoices as high as it's ever been. It's never been higher. College football national champions, and now a home playoff victory for the first time. And most of the guys on that team weren't even alive.
No, most of them were not alive.
Yeah, it's huge for them, and I'm happy for Detroit. I don't feel the way about them that I feel about Minnesota or Chicago, where I detest them. It's like Detroit. Yeah, nice, good for you. And I'm happy for the fans that are weeping in the stands. It's like it's still a wild card win. Now, maybe we're spoiled as Packer fans, and that's fine. Maybe we're blessed as Packer fans. I know we are.
I can't even be happy for them.
We've had plenty of those wins ourselves. Now, I'll say this. I do
talked
enjoy
to
the
TJ
perspective
Lang.
of it, though. Like, it reminds you to appreciate every win, every sandwich, every moment. Well, I was talking.
I can never tell when he's done. I can never tell when he's done.
TJ Lang, yep, go ahead.
You gave me a Matt Schneidman AI pause there, Armin.
I don't think it was that pregnant. I don't think it was that pregnant of a pause. Personally, I don't. Armin,
that thing was 9 months pregnant. That pause was 9 months pregnant, Armin. I was ready for this.
Well, I was in the middle of that thought. Did you think I was done?
Man.
I did. That's exactly what I thought. I thought you were done. That's exactly.
That pause was at her due date. All of a sudden, Armin goes right back in.
Hey, did you guys like this text from Sheila in Milwaukee? FYI, Armin is not a cheap circus pony. Quit riding him like a circus. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate you, Sheila. Well,
that pause was having contractions, Armin.
It was not that.
That pause was 5 centimeters dilated, dude. You cannot be doing that.
Fine. Oh, I do want to know how. So you texted TJ.
Yeah. So TJ Lang was talking to you last.
Yeah, I was talking to TJ. How great would this be? 2 weeks, a showdown, Packers Lions in Detroit. Detroit to have an NFC Championship game is not out of the realm of a possibility here. And after everything they've been through, the first win last night. Did you listen to Dan Campbell after the game last night?
I listened to him with TJ. And John, I thought he was going to start crying on the interview. Like, TJ kept going and asking him questions, and kind of like TJ does, right? He's answering, he's giving you his thought. He was filling it on up. And Dan's just like, Tej, I agree, man. Like, man, that was the best time that I've ever. He said, I think it was in one part of the interview. Now, I was kind of starting to doze off a little bit, where he said, this is my favorite moment of my football life.
Yeah,
was last night for Dan Campbell.
It's pretty cool to hear that.
He won a Super Bowl too.
He won a Super
Bowl. New Orleans.
Yes,
he's won a Super Bowl, and this is like there's something special when you get a unique bond with a city. I feel like I have that with Green Bay, and that's why I stayed here. And Dan Campbell has that now with the city of Detroit. TJ Lang's. I can't wait. We got to get him on this week sometime.
Yeah, we do.
He is in such an interesting spot where he simultaneously has love for two franchises, equally loves the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. He grew up a Detroit Lions fan. He grew up not far outside of Detroit. He finished his career in Detroit. Now he works for Detroit. He watched all the struggles of all the years of Detroit, and now he gets to cover them at their pinnacle. I mean, you got to say 1957. I understand they won an NFL championship, but this is their pinnacle right now. This team coming back from everything that they've been in, and scouring social media to see the videos and and the sound of Dan Campbell when he first got the job. Remember him on Hard Knocks? Guys, I love you, and I swear you gotta trust me,
man.
If I could not put the pads on you, I wouldn't. But defense, what's our foundation here? It's tackling. We have to but you got to trust me because I think about you every single day. And people made fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
They made fun of this man for being passionate and emotional talking to players. That's exactly what you want your head coach to be, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. And he's doing that there in Detroit. Now, I'm not going to go Zabe's route and say that the game was stolen from the Rams by the referees last night, but there were some fortunate calls. But that's why you get the home playoff game. That's why you do that, to create that environment, to create that atmosphere, and to create the calls being beneficial for yourself.
Yeah, and it's
didn't
football.
The call go their way going up against halftime though with the false start? It looked like they were about to snag some more points there right before halftime.
And that was my man. That was the number one thing that I thought about listening to Zabe this morning was that they literally took points off the board for the Lions. That would have put them in field goal range, potentially touchdown range before the half, potentially making it a 2-score game before the half.
And maybe pushes one team to go for it on 4th and 15 when not only are you not going to get the freaking football back with 4 minutes to go, but maybe folks need 5 more points to hit the over, John. Sorry.
But Matthew Stafford looked good. Matthew Stafford
38 points in the first half.
Matthew Stafford's an MVP quarterback. He gets hit in the front. He gets hit on the side of the head, and then he gets stepped on his throwing arm all at the same time.
He's tough.
And it's hey, we don't feel bad for you. You're just going to come back. You know what it is? He doesn't complain enough. He doesn't turn around and go, what is that? Is that a penalty? I mean, Armin, you got to admit, your boy Patrick Mahomes, he does that just a bit too much.
Well, sometimes you have to lobby for yourself and stick up for yourself. I mean, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes
people hate LeBron for it, but you got to get you. Sometimes you got to be your biggest cheerleader.
Sometimes you got to
be your own biggest supporter.
You got to pat yourself on the back when they accuse you of taking a pregnant pause. All right, let's say this: who felt better though, him or probably this guy, Jared Goff? Right? Who felt better than Jared Goff last night? Right? He was fired up. You got to feel happy for a guy like that who has kind of been cast aside, who has been kicked around. The storyline was Stafford going back home. What about Jared Goff? And he got the win for him last night. You got to feel happy for him.
When he was not pressured last night, he was 22 of 22. Like, I mean, just systematic. And when he's indoors, not pressured, a fantastic quarterback. Now get him on outside. Maybe it's a little bit different story, and maybe it'll be a little bit different story if the Packers don't take care of business and the Lions don't get themselves yet again another home game. But interesting how ball don't lie, John. Wasn't it a couple of weeks ago that would have been the 2 seed being the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys being the 3 if the reporting is eligible thing works itself on out? They still end up getting themselves the extra home game. But I do want, to say this. I love Pat Mahomes. You might be right. He might be turning around. And we'll watch another guy here today because Josh Allen will do it more than anybody else in football. And he's the biggest joker out there. He's the biggest dude, and he's always laying the lumber to somebody when he's running in the open field. But that helmet even gets close to the chin strap. He's turning around saying, what? Come on. Throwing the hands on up, looking for one. They're little NFL meet NBA looking for flags here at the quarterback position.
That's why personally I like the way the NFL got called this weekend. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for the most part they let them play. They had to call the offside. Sorry guys, stay on sides. You got to call those.
Yeah.
But as far as there was one roughing the passer against Mahomes that I thought was just awful. Aside from that,
push.
You're going to have some awful calls. The cameras are so good now. That we're going to find every little bit of error that the referees have. It didn't used to be that way. You couldn't really tell before.
Sure.
You're going to see every little thing now.
But so Wayne's gripe, and Wayne likes to get after the officiating crew.
Oh, he hates every official.
Especially Trey Blake. Now, there's not a whole lot of guys that he hates more than Trey Blake.
I would love to ask Wayne seriously one time, Wayne, if you could, you have to pick one. You have to save one, and you have to make one walk the plank. NFL officials or Kyle Shanahan? Which one? Which one are you picking?
He's making Shanahan walk that plank. He's going to deal with every officiating gripe, I think, known to man.
No, I think Wayne's answer would be, I'll walk the plank because I can't stand living with either of them.
That's true.
But these all-star crews for the playoffs make no sense. Can somebody make that make sense to me of why you're going to take a unit to never work with each other in the most important games? That is not going to make sense to me.
I did like the bonus referees on the sidelines.
That makes sense
for both head coaches.
Yeah.
I think that's a phenomenal move. I think that's a phenomenal move by the NFL.
And guess what? If you had full-time employees, you might be able to afford to have one on the sideline for every single game.
Mm-hmm.
Every game. And we want to talk about the weather issue. Was something that was people were raising an issue with John Kuhn at KuhnJ30, by the way, if you want to follow him on social media, which you should do. I'm at Bill Schmid Radio. Armin Sarian, you know the name, you know the handle. Traditional Armenian spelling there.
That's
on
right.
Armin Sarian.
Yep.
And you can follow the station at the Game MKE. That's where you watch us on X daily. Also on the YouTube page, 97.3 The Game. But it's 9 to noon. 9, the number 2 noon, where you vote on all our poll questions. You get all the latest information from the Wisconsin Sports Talk Savages. And we're feasting on this Buffalo. The Packers demolished the Dallas Cowboys. Put some snow in Buffalo. You want to feast on that, Buffalo? We'll discuss it because the cold weather, I think cold weather football city needs to weigh on the issue that we're going to see on a doubleheader for Super Wildcard Weekend and the close to Wildcard Weekend. We'll wrap up our number 2 right after this. 9 noon on the game.
12 o'clock, I gotta rock.
think we should.
Just got we're going to, because we just got a remarkable mic drop right before we came back from the break. We were talking about, there's this great video, John, of the last touchdown pass, which was DX style suck it towards the Dallas sidelines. Like, I mean, you can't tell me any other way that you go for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and we're throwing it at the 4. Beautiful. Mahomes makes that sidearm throw to Romeo Doubs. You can't tell me it's not a part of the Sunday Night Football intro.
Good point. Yeah.
Make that an NFL Network commercial because of the throw, and then you start getting yourself into the conversations. Like some said, look at the numbers. Why is Jordan Love not in the MVP conversation? Because you don't have at least that 1 year status check, right? You got to have 1 year to be able to get into the club. He'll be in that club next year, and he'll be very, very discussed preseason. Some of the throws he makes yesterday, though, you put a 17 and a Buffalo Bills jersey on him, it's getting played all day long. Hell, I believe this to my core. You put a 7 Houston Texan jersey on him, and it's getting discussed more than it is right now with what Jordan Love did yesterday.
I'd say pump the brakes, Billy, because this is only and super wild card weekend. It's not done yet. It's not done yet.
It's not.
But the minute it's done and we hit the Tuesday and Wednesday and we start moving on to the divisional round, which is my favorite weekend of sports throughout the whole year. Once we start moving in that direction, oh yeah, going to be a lot of Packer highlights. The one thing I thought was really a lot of fun was both my Super Bowl parts that I was a part of in Pittsburgh and in Green Bay, we were 6 seeds and we weren't getting a whole lot of attention, and things were kind of off the radar as, you know, a team that's just sneaking into the playoffs as the 6th seed. Then you get a win in the first round. It's kind of like, okay, they're playing hot at the right time. Each and every week that goes from here on out, more attention comes to the details, and people will start bringing up, hey, if you think I think we have enough coverage now. I mean, you got me and Dusty breaking down film. You got Dan Orlovsky breaking down film. Baldy's breaking down film, calling him Tyler Kraft instead of Tucker Kraft. And everybody's breaking down film, right? Everybody's breaking this stuff down, showing us, but you got to dig for it during the regular season with this young Green Bay Packers team. By the way, how young is this Green Bay Packers team? 15 players on this roster were born in 2000 or 2001. I'm talking about the next century. Okay. They don't even remember that the Cowboys are an actual playoff rivalry because they didn't experience the 90s when the Cowboys actually won this thing.
Never seen
and I would say now that the Packers-Cowboys rivalry is 5-4 in that favor, you look at the 49ers Packers, which is now going to be the most played playoff series in all of the NFL. They were all tied at 9. Packers 49ers at 9, Packers Cowboys at 9, Cowboys somebody else at 9, and then Cowboys somebody. Like there's a bunch of, you know, teams that have played 9 times in the playoffs. Nobody's played 10 yet. Now we play the 49ers. Guess what that one is? 5-4. Favor of the 49ers. They won their last 4. But this is a young Packers team. They don't remember the 90s when the Packers used to own the 49ers. They just know the ghosts of playoff past, which are, you know, Colin Kaepernick in 2012, 2013, and then Jimmy Garoppolo in 2021, 2022. That's all they really know. So they don't really know what it was like before. And that's okay because they're so young, they might be able to just turn this thing right upside down. I forget what I even started talking. I started getting excited for the game.
The excitement around the Packers and the lack of coverage. Maybe once we get closer to it, it will crank back on up because I think it should. You mentioned off those years. Somehow, out of all of those, the 2013 year is the one that still sticks in my craw even more because we got them at home, had that chance. And if Micah Hyde is 0.2 of an inch taller, he intercepts that ball. And I don't have to see Colin Kaepernick sleeveless in the 20-degree minus wind chill running on off the field celebrating. And, you know, Jim Harbaugh's face redder and more burgundy than the 49er logo on his shirt. Funny part about the wind chill is apparently Armin doesn't believe in it.
No, I didn't say that. Now that talk about wind chill really
fake,
quick.
Right?
Well, I heard Zay this morning say he doesn't believe in it. I mean, that the point I think what I would make is really quick. Wind chill is an estimation. It's not an objective standard like a temperature is when you put a thermometer up in front of it and you get a reading. Right.
Okay, let me ask you, Armin.
It's not objective like that.
Is -4 created equal? -4 is -4. That's the one thing.
I get your point. They're not all created equal.
Yeah. So
but it's still an estimation.
The 2007 NFC Championship game was -4 at kickoff. This Chiefs game this past weekend was -4 at kickoff. Everybody wants to say 4th coldest game in NFL history because of the wind chill. It was fourth chilliest game because of wind chill, but the cold, it was -4.
Sure.
We were -4. I'll tell you this.
It's like saying eye test in a game. That's the same idea.
That NFC Championship game was -4, but we played a colder game than that earlier in the year. That was like 6 at kickoff because it was 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Right.
Yeah,
so
Bears game.
I get that, and we can reasonably say that the Bears game felt colder, was more uncomfortable because of the wind chill. So I'm not saying it's fake. I'm just saying it's an estimated measure, whereas temperature,
like how Mickey Mantle hit a 500-foot home run.
Absolutely.
Estimation.
Back then, they don't have the same type of technology and stuff. So that's
they have better technology here, but a home run distance is still an estimation.
True, unless
it's still just taking the launch angle and velocity of the ball off.
It's just better than it used to be. But unless you're literally estimating where something lands with a ruler or a meter stick or whatever it is, you make a good point there too. I'm not fighting you on that. It's just a reasonable take. So I just
didn't anticipate people having such strong takes about weather as we have found throughout the last week and a half. Cold weather and snow does things to you that way, right? Like it makes people very, very visceral in their beliefs and takes, I believe, on what happens with Mother Nature when it gets bad on out.
It all comes down to how people feel that they're aggrieved based on the generation before. Like, we used to not worry about like anytime school's canceled, it's like we're getting soft. So
I am getting screwed.
It's not the weather that makes people. It's the way they believe that we as a society react about weather, and they make it into a bigger issue, like a cultural issue. Well, it's like sometimes it's just cold. Okay,
that game in Buffalo. I mean, it's going to be cold today. It's going to be snowing today. It's still going to be parking lots trashed, roads.
Yeah, still good luck getting in.
Yeah, it's not going to be great.
But they couldn't get anyone. They couldn't literally get anyone in there to play the game. Is the point, right? That's why they had to postpone it.
I still think.
I don't know. I saw a lot of meteorologists standing outside the stadium taking video of themselves with the weather behind them. I'm like, well, you got there.
Yeah,
but
like
it was okay for you.
Well, media always gets there. We always get to our spot.
Yeah, and there's also a guy hanging from a flagpole trying to give the take about the wind while 2 people are walking perfectly fine behind him.
You couldn't play that game though.
I don't know though that if the governor doesn't step in, that game doesn't get played yesterday.
Well, that's the other question.
If it was up to the NFL, they probably would have played the game. They were going to play the game until the mayor or the governor stepped on it and said, "No, we're moving this thing." And Roger Goodell's like.
You're still getting tweets, huh, John? Is that what you're still getting people tweeting at you about?
Dude's got 170 responses on that message.
Yeah, that is a big ratio. Watch. No, you're not even getting ratioed though. It's just, but you are getting a lot of engagement.
Play the game or don't play the game. It doesn't matter either way. But you could have played the game. Man, that would have been a wild game to watch.
That would have been fun to watch.
No throwing. That under for Josh Allen was hitting guaranteed.
Still might.
By the way, what happens with that? Is that an NA?
So
not applicable.
It's a great question.
Because the weather's way different today.
Because there were a couple of investments that certain person on 9 to Noon had at certain institutions that are outside of the state of Wisconsin. One got N8, one got no bet, another one continued on. So I don't exactly know how Potawatomi is holding those, because there is a member of 9 to Noon that has a couple of parlay tickets that were placed before the game got moved that include the Buffalo Bills.
All right, so Receipt Monday and Ticket Monday. I love this.
About the only thing I didn't.
You just bought a pack of gum at CVS.
The only thing I didn't put in that tweet to piss people off, Farman, was
Taylor
Swift.
Oh, that would have been the other one. People cannot handle seeing her once an hour. I'm sorry. You soft.
Well, it's not once an hour. It's 3 times a minute.
No, it's not. It's not.
He said no, it's not.
And the reason I know is because every time she gets shown, it's, alert them.
It was pandemonium in your house.
We keep track. Like, we can't miss it. Like,
do you take a shot for every time Taylor Swift goes on?
Well, we're going to literally drink.
That would have been a good idea.
Oh, we should do that. And the big conversation from Tarico was only during garbage time. And big deal if it is. Like, people can't handle it. I'm sorry. You are soft. If you can't handle Taylor Swift being shown a few times a game, gosh.
Waving to the fans after the game.
Oh, my gosh. Some guy told me it's sickening. It's really sickening. You're sick because she's on screen. Give me a break. But, who tweeted it yesterday? Was it our boy Tyler Herrick, our Packers
Not positive,
guy?
yes,
with the
maybe.
airplane, and he has the airplane takes. They asked, what's the only thing more annoying than Taylor Swift at a playoff game? He goes, the people that are tweeting about it. Like, I totally agree.
Did they show Jerry Jones or Taylor Swift more times?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
That's part of the game.
That's why I made it. 414-799-1973 is the phone number to get involved. It's the right way to go. It's the right way to go, though.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. It's wow. The emotions are just running wild today. We're doing great, though. It's a great day.
Listen, I'm having a great day. The Packers just won. We're hopefully getting some victory chicken brought on in here at some particular point during the program. And we got hour number 3 and a little bit of a recap, a little gut check on You Better You Bet coming up next after a Packers playoff win. Not much better. Hour 3 is next on the game.
In the morning, girl, and the DJ playing that song.
In the last 5 seasons of playoff football, only 2 out of 63 times did a coach win the toss and take the football. Matt LaFleur became the 3rd yesterday. Strategic move, and the Packers never looked back in almost 8-minute drive to start the game, score a touchdown, go on down, get a stop, and maybe one of the more forgotten parts about the game. John, I don't know if you felt the same way. Armin Sarian's in here. It's hour 3 at 9 to noon. You can check us out on X and the YouTube channel if you'd like to watch 9 to noon as well, presented by Palermo's. I thought the second drive of the game doesn't result in any points, but digging yourself out of, I believe Jaden Reed caught that fair catch around like the 6 or 7 yard line, gets the extra 15 thanks to a very nice and well done catch and then fall by Jaden Reed to make sure that it was exaggerated just a little bit, just enough to bring enough attention to it. Get yourself the call, flip the field, and at least get a couple of first downs, possess the football, and make more and more uncomfortable moments for not only, John, the people on the other sideline dressed in the silver and white jerseys, and for the folks, 80-some plus thousand that were there in Dallas Cowboy garb, because it just felt like as long as you could hold the ball, you are making it more uncomfortable for that sideline who had been in control of just about every game at home this season.
Yeah, and they played it out just the way you would hope that they would play it out. And there were really no hiccups along the way either. It was just an unraveling of this thread that was exactly what you needed to unravel. And now they're going to San Francisco and the first lines are out. Packers 10-point underdogs now. 7.5 is where it started last game for that. Now it's 10-point underdogs walking into, hey, the weather though. Oh man, I checked early weather reports for Santa Clara. It's not looking great, boys. 50, 55 degrees, rain. Looks like it's going to.
That's not good for the sideline reporter.
No, that's terrible for me. That's absolutely awful.
Come on, John. I mean, that's fine. It's 50.
Rain for 5 straight days in a row out there in Santa Clara means it's definitely going to rain during the game. I picked the Family Guys, weather forecast out there. What's the weather look like, Stanley? It's going to rain.
I know, and rain does stink. Don't get me wrong.
It's going to rain.
But I just feel like the temperature, it might be a light misting rain. You never know.
But no, it's going to be a driving rain. You can already tell. It's going to be almost sideways, probably 10-mile-an-hour winds.
That help or hurt the Packers. That's what if it is
rain
a rain
pouring right towards the Packers sideline, just eating raindrops right in the face. That's going to be a tough day for the sideline reporter.
Maybe it's an equalizer for us. You never know. Maybe it makes those big guys up front slow down a bit.
I don't know that there's many things that you want to try to be slowing down this Packers offense, though. Right? Like, I mean, and we'll look into more and more of it throughout the week. Like, there's going to be a recipe, and it happened. It happened early yesterday morning where I had fully convinced myself the Packers were going to win that football game. I do believe that it's going to happen at some point this week. And again, I'm pretty excited for that moment because it is a beautiful time of realization as a fan, and then potentially sets yourself up for, 5 or 6 hours of disappointment and pain. But that's what we do this for. That's why we love it. That's why we enjoy every moment of sports, and playoff football is like no other. And when you're this close to it, you can taste it. You can feel how close you are to being able to do something special. Some texter brought it in. It was one of the first responses today on the talking text line, which is 414-799-1973. And we've bumped Matt Schneidman. There was going to be potentially a quick chance that we could sneak him on in after the weekend that he has had travel-wise. We want him to get in his Toyota Corolla, start driving towards Green Bay. Don't even worry about it. Now, most importantly, it's a plus 210 favorite that his car doesn't start in Minneapolis in the parking lot, which is a tough deal. Minus 150 favorite that it does. So there's a pretty good chance that he's John still struggling with traveling back to Green Bay today.
There's few people in this world that when they have misfortunes, you kind of eat it up. You kind of
can't turn away.
Right? It's like Michael Scott from The Office. Whenever something happens, you're like, well, you kind of did that to yourself. And now Matt Schneidman driving all the way out there at 2 minutes. I wonder if he regrets that. Any regrets? You think he has regrets?
No, because he made it. So he's going to say, he's I hate that. That's funny. He's going to say like that his, all of his efforts were worth it because he made it. Right. So I don't think
now he's got to land and then drive back. He's got to drive back. Brutal
4 hours, 5 hours.
Back. Ooh,
sure, but he can make himself the martyr and say, I did all this work and all that stuff.
Now he said he filled up he said he filled up his car before he drove there. You think he filled up his car before he parked?
Not
no
a chance.
way. He's going to have to fill it up again on the way back. Yeah, there's no way he did
That's
that.
why there's a good chance that car's not starting.
Yeah,
I mean, like if it's -4 there, and it's been -4
right.
for a while.
Click.
That's gonna be a tough.
Oh no!
I learned my lesson before.
First, the gas tank goes dead. Now the battery goes dead.
Right.
It really is like a car accident, though. As bad as it sounds, and I will say at some point when I am laughing in the midst of his pain and misery, there's a quick second where I'm like, you really shouldn't be taking so much satisfaction and joy in this.
Yeah, but you do.
Oh, dude, and then it just gets even better, right? Because then one more part of it goes against him. You're like, thank God. I didn't want this story to end quite yet.
Well, that is one thing I learned my lesson a couple of years ago when the Nooners took me to task for not keeping my gas tank full over a quarter.
Ooh.
When I got under a quarter full in the winter. I mean, I don't know if you remember that, John. It was like 2 hours of getting lambasted on the text line from Nooners that said I was an idiot. So now I always remember in extreme cold weather to keep my tank full. And I did do that the other day right before the cold snap. So I'm a little proud of myself.
I was going to say, Armin is full of
Did you go get
arm
milk,
pads
bread, and
today.
eggs from the grocery store too?
I'm
Armin?
not a clown.
Man.
Like these guys that come in.
Any paper towel?
That cracks me up.
Bottled water?
Yeah, the guys that come in before a
Did you
snowstorm
fill your bathtub?
to get provisions like for 3 months, like it's the Oregon Trail, like we're the pilgrims on the Oregon Trail. Like you don't have 1 day's worth of food. Even I got Chef Boyardee cans in the pantry. Like I could get by with 1 day. Like come on, even I got 6 Palermo's pizzas in my freezer.
And 3 coupons that we just got.
Yeah, your boy's good
Gotta
to go.
buy 'em quick,
I got
though.
coupons and everything. So, yeah, I just don't get that either. It's like, you think it's going to be plowed in for 5 months? You think we're canning vegetables for the winter?
Okay, well, maybe. But if you look at the snow that they got in Buffalo, and right now the videos from inside that stadium, I don't know how they're getting all that snow out of the stadium in
They're
time
not.
for this football game.
Yeah, it's
They're
gonna be
not.
tough.
People are sitting on top of snow. It's going to be the old-fashioned. You'll have the bleacher, but then your knees will be tucked up to your chin because the snow will be that high at your feet.
You're going to have to stand the whole game, right? Like,
they do stand the whole game, but they're going to stand
That's
on
fair.
the bleachers instead of in the standing spots, and that'll be fine. Snowball flights galore. It'll be a fantastic setting for a game here today.
Well, I'm wondering if there's going to be more snowballs thrown on the field or dildos, because there's, it could be like 1v1. There could be the amount just the same. But they're wild there. And if there's that much snow outside your front yard, maybe you do go and grab yourself an extra thing of toilet paper to make sure that you're stocked up for a couple of weeks.
The
'Cause I wouldn't wanna
fascinating
be
thing
going out.
is if the Pittsburgh Steelers find a way to win this ball game, Patrick Mahomes still won't have to play an away playoff game. It's unbelievable. This guy, 6 years in the NFL as a starter, has never played an away football playoff game.
And the way
Crazy.
that they've gotten some of the wins is remarkable as well. How they've snuck past a few of which, and this one's setting up beautifully. A rematch of 2 years ago, the epic overtime battle where Buffalo doesn't get the football back. They're playing some of their best ball, and you talk about a team that nobody really wants to see right now. I don't think anybody's all that excited about seeing the Packers. Nobody's excited about seeing the Buffalo Bills the way they're playing at this moment, right? The way they've run the ball a little bit, even though Josh is turning the ball over, like their confidence is pretty sky high.
They've been hot. Yeah, no doubt about it.
They're one of the hotter teams entering the playoffs, and that's where a game like this comes into play. Now they get bumped back a day. You would say Buffalo, they probably need to get this game because they already lost a day of rest. Kansas City is going to have 2 days rest, where Buffalo over top of Buffalo, if this thing ends up going in the way for the Buffalo Bills, but they'll have another home game. What's the weather going to be this week in Buffalo? I looked. It's going to be snowy and cold once again this week. So it'll be the same type of atmosphere that both teams played in this weekend. Will be the same atmosphere next weekend. But don't we need to see Patrick Mahomes on the road in the playoffs?
I
Don't
think
we
so.
want to see Patrick Mahomes on the road in the playoffs to see, hey, you got to do this thing on the road at some point in time. You can't always play at home here in the playoffs. And there's been some breaks on why he's played on the, always at home in the playoffs. Tennessee got upset one year in the divisional round. Baltimore got upset 1 year in the divisional round. So there's been some breaks for the Kansas City Chiefs. Will they get that break again today with Pittsburgh over top of Buffalo?
Well, and it's funny you mentioned the Baltimore break that they end up getting to then host Tennessee in the title game back in 19 when, again, they were down 24-0 at one point in that divisional round game and ended up winning like 50-25 or something. But Baltimore was the night game on Saturday. And throughout this building yesterday, while John, you're trying to get yourself somehow up into the air at DFW, right? You guys are trying to find your way on out of Dallas to get on back to Green Bay. We're trying to figure out when the heck they're going to play this football game. And there was no way they're putting one of the teams that plays today
Monday on
Saturday.
We
There's
knew
no way that was
be,
happening.
We knew it'd be Saturday. And when you factored everything into it, Packers 49ers, most playoff meetings out of any two teams in NFL history, that has to be the night game for Saturday. I mean, the NFL would love to put this late game Sunday,
sure,
but they have to put it Saturday, so they're going to put it the nighttime. I mean, it had to be at this time on Saturday.
You would think. But then I went back and looked at the 2019 playoffs. They played the Niners a Saturday afternoon game on the divisional round, and then the Baltimore Ravens Saturday night. So I'm like, I guess it only makes sense that they play the Packers-Niners game at night. But they've literally done it 5 years ago. They played, for some reason, a San Francisco Saturday game at 1:30 local time. So it works itself just perfectly on out, though, for this game on Saturday. And the NFL smiling from ear to ear.
Well,
I'll say this. You can draw even more comparisons like our guy Luke did on the talking text line. Guys, I got it all figured out. Check out the similarities. 2010 beat the NFC East champion. Ding. 2023 NFC East champion defeated. 2010 beat the number one seed on Saturday night, the Atlanta Falcons. Play the number one seed on Saturday night in the San Francisco 49ers. NFC North rival in 2010 on the road for the title game. Could shape up to be an NFC North rival for the title game in 2020.
Let's go all the way. And you said it, John, yesterday. It was eerie how much that pick by Savage felt like the Tremont pick in Atlanta. Of course, you're on the sideline for it, but it was eerie how much the way that game went with the offensive explosion, the production, the quarterback that could really not make a bad pass, gold coming out of his arm every time, and then that pick six from a guy that hadn't had let's be honest, he hasn't made a big play all year. But Darnell Savage did, and it was like
not since
like
week
Tremont
17's pick six last year against the Vikings as he had a play like that.
It's just crazy how much it felt like that, you know.
Big plays from guys who, for the majority of the season, weren't available for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Jones was hurt all year long, comes out and has a masterful game yesterday. Now, he's had 4 games in a row like that, but he's still he missed a large portion of this game. Jair Alexander missed 9 games because of injury this year. Comes up with that early interception. Darnell Savage missed time with injury this year. Comes up with a pick six. And Armin, I was on the sideline, and it was how quick the ball went in the opposite direction and how there was nobody in front of him and he could just walk into the end zone. Literal hairs standing up on the back of my neck, having flashbacks of Tramon Williams doing that down there in Atlanta. It felt identical. And the same number of points scored in that game as this game, 48 for the Packers. It's just so many similarities to go around.
Who would have thought the Packers would walk into Dallas, score 48 without a catch from Jaden Reed?
Yeah.
I mean, the way Jaden's been playing, which is great, and obviously you want all your guys in the field, and Jaden's going to have his nights. Last night was Rome's, but man, not even one catch. You would have never thought that, right? I mean, that's incredible.
Not at all. We've been waiting for the Romeo Doubs game to burst on out, not only just because he's a friend of the show and been on this program a number of different times, and we've been waiting to see him get more and more touches. Worked on out to this week. Like, I mean, as many times as you could find 87, strong hands catch and quickly turn upfield. Like, that was spectacular to witness. 414 said, I did not focus all year long on the young team, but reset expectations based on the end of season play in the Bears game. Expected them to be competitive or win in Dallas. Yes, thought pass rush lacked and Dak helped us out, but our offense could be top 2 right now in the league. Let's look ahead and raise expectations right now.
All right.
That includes that the highest paid special teams coach, Rich Bisaccia, might need to be a little bit ridiculed. Nothing bad about Rich Bisaccia after his how about them Cowboys drop as they walked into the locker room yesterday. That video itself saves frustration for another week, at least for me.
Yeah, that was fun, but the special teams is something that needs to be addressed going forward. Free points, we can't lose the free points anymore. We've had the issue with the extra points now, and it really came mostly at the end of the year. I feel like this has been 4 games in a row that we've missed an extra point here out of Anders. It been.
It feels like it. I'm not
Let me
sure.
make sure,
The
'cause I think
big
you're right on
the
that.
big return by Turbin there before the end of half that really set up that first score for the Dallas Cowboys. Just little things. It's nitpicky, but it's little things that they need to clean up.
Can I ask you also how you feel, John, you guys, about fair catching punts inside the 10? I had debates with my friends about that. I thought you weren't supposed to fair catch a ball that deep. Jaden's been doing it a lot.
Line. You're supposed to put your heels on the 8-yard line, and if you're backing up, you're supposed to let the ball go.
Yeah.
But if you're on the 8 and it's like a yard over your head and you start backing up and then it drifts a little bit more and then you finally catch it at the 6, you can understand that.
Right, because it's an instinct, right? And you want to just secure the ball.
And it's more so if that ball hangs, and it bounces at, you catch it at the 6, but it bounces to the 2 or the 1. I mean, coaches would rather have it at the 6 if you short. 8 is where they say is the line of demarcation. Don't step back. But if you catch it at 6, they're still okay with it. I mean, it all depends on the flight of the football.
Yeah, and I suppose the other risk is if you have blockers or guys that aren't able to see the ball, and you yell fire at the last second, the ball could bounce into their back, create a disaster, a fumble.
It's Peter.
Yes. I know they yell Peter, right? That's the term, Peter. Yeah, don't touch it. I don't know. I think so, but I just feel like, I also thought growing up, never fair catch a ball inside the 10. So I guess you say the 8. Okay. Yeah. I thought that was another thing that to me is a mistake, but.
So I got 3 out of 4 games here with a missed extra point. There was a missed field goal in the Bears game. So 4 straight games with a missed kick, at least one of which not going through the uprights.
And it used to be in the NFL where 80% for the season was good. You would look at 80% kicking and you would say that's good. But there's so many artificial turfs now, so many domes being played. You can't really blame weather and field conditions as much. So now the new mark is about 90% in the NFL for kickers. And when I first looked at under stats at the end of the season, I said, well, 82% field goal, about 80% extra points. That's not terrible. I mean, extra points is,
you've got to be at 93, 95.
But when I started, because the old way of looking at it was 82. That's good. Rookie, that's good. No, not really the case anymore in the NFL. So got to get a little bit better. The thing about Anders is, and this is the crazy part, he's got such a strong leg for field goals, and yet because he puts so much height on the ball, he doesn't kick it into the end zone. It's rare that it gets into the end zone on a kickoff. So the coverage team has to be really good and detailed in their coverage. Now, he does still kick it very high. That's why you see the number of tackles inside the 20 or 25 for the Green Bay Packers on their kickoff team. So there's a good with the bad, but I feel like it's leaning more. This could just come back to bite you at some point in time. Hasn't this year yet, but it could.
Yeah, my man Zane Anderson with that cover up yesterday, number 39. That's why he was inactive and nobody knew who he was for the first 9 weeks of the season, was for that exact tackle at that exact moment during that playoff game. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. We love it on the Talking Text line at 414-799-1973. You guys really know what I love? Investing. And I like to do it at Potawatomi.
The man can't miss. Time now for Coons Can't Miss. Presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big. Bet bull.
Yeah, Potawatomi, the best part about it, they never closed. During that whole snowstorm here in Wisconsin, they never closed. You could have made your way down there off the 2nd and 3rd level and walked right in one of those 70 different kiosks they have there. Place a bet. Walk on out. Then you're back on the roads and home before it gets too bad, too treacherous. Or you could have stayed there down at the old Fire Pit Sports Bar and Grill. 30 big screens, a full bar with food and beverage service and plenty of seating. You could have done that as well and talked to one of the 10 different ticket takers down there like Armin Sarian likes to do. Tip them if you win. That's what Armin does. All right, what are we doing with this thing?
Well, yeah.
Josh Allen under 211.5 passing yards. I thought he was going to play in treacherous elements like the NFL told us he was going to do. They said, we're not moving the games. They're playing in these elements. I thought he's playing in those elements. The line is changed. Do I have to stick with the same pick?
I think your
if I
ticket's
do,
open.
So that's an NA.
I don't.
I believe it's a no bet, but I'm not positive.
Yeah. See, I thought it was still an open ticket. You bet Allen under 211.5, and it hasn't happened
All
yet.
different books were treating it differently, though.
Because the bet, because the book now says Allen under 223.5.
Yeah, but you get the line you buy, or do you want to make it an NA?
when
Yes,
they
it's-
moved the game from
I guess.
terrible weather. I mean, what if they moved it to a dome? Is over under would
If
be
they would have
300.
moved, if they would have moved locations, it would have for sure been a no bet. I don't know that how many places are, because I know like Circa, Caesars, and BetMGM, they all put out they are not voiding the tickets. They were letting it roll. Majority of places were letting it roll.
I think we let it roll, John. To be honest with you,
All right. Well,
I know
I'm
you don't.
stuck
I
at-
know you want me to rip it up here.
I'm stuck at
We gotta
Josh
call our guy
Allen under
Justin.
211.5. I feel like I should get 223.5 to make it. I mean, you change the date. I should at least get the updated lines. New date.
All right, I guess
new
we
lines.
can.
No, we're not doing
can
it. We're
add-
gonna
we-
stick. We're gonna stick. Well, did you ask Justin? Or
I
did you
didn't.
send
I
out-
just figured we were sticking. I didn't think
put
it was
the
a
bat
question.
signal out there.
No, I didn't.
I don't know why you didn't.
Because I thought we were gonna just roll with it. I didn't think it was even a question. But you can take another ticket today if you want. You want to hedge it the other way, so you break even.
This guy with the hedging.
Well, I'm just asking if you want to do it. I mean, you're worried about it being ripped
Well,
up.
I'm definitely. If I'm doing this, I'm not hedging.
No.
one bit.
By the way,
Doubling up.
By the way, I was down there this weekend, and there are specials for TV and awards specials for Emmys, Grammys, Golden
Okay.
Globes.
Okay.
But I don't think
was that supposed to be enticing.
No, I'm just saying none of those events are coming up. Are going to be today,
okay.
but you could take those in the future. Just letting you know. Just trying to let everyone know that you can
Sure.
bet those events.
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of cool. I thought, maybe you have someone in the family that wants to bet the Golden
Couldn't
Globes.
tell you what was going on in the Golden Globes or Emmys or.
Well, then
Grammys.
you don't have an edge on that, Billy.
Yeah, I'm not going to have any interest in that one. Sorry.
Then
Well,
don't bet it.
Why don't I? Quit asking. Quit asking.
All right,
I don't
John.
know how many of our listeners are all that excited to bet on the Grammys, but maybe they are.
Maybe they have an edge.
Maybe they're waiting.
It's all about making this money. All right, let's go, John.
Well, let's do this then. We'll keep that one. That was Friday's pick.
All right.
211.5. Josh Allen under still has a chance. There's still a chance. Come on, wind blow.
It might.
Be
Look
the,
at the
be
weather.
the sign from Whistling Straits. Just be a cloud out there. Just
Be that
blowing.
you. Be that you.
Just be wind blowing all up in Josh Allen's grill while he's trying to throw the football tonight. Under 211.5. All the way there. Jalen Hurts. I'm going Jalen Hurts also. This will be my Monday pick. AJ Brown's out for this game, guys. He's out for this football game.
No.
Jalen Hurts rushing and passing 261.5. I'm going under in that one as well. Tampa Bay defense is what I'm going to be cheering for here tonight. Two defenses, Pittsburgh's defense and Tampa Bay's defense. Jalen Hurts under 261.5 passing and rushing yards in this ball game.
I like that because of the injury as well. I don't want to. I mean, I'm not against Jalen Hurts with the Eagles,
No.
but I like that bet.
Dislocated finger could have a little something to it. All right.
I don't think he's been running all that well this year either, to be honest with you. Maybe he's fresher now or something, but it doesn't seem the same.
Do you have an in already on the Grammys or the Emmys that you're a little upset that I wasn't excited to
listen,
jump on?
I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying.
It sounds
it's
like you're upset
cool
that we're not
they
taking
have-
your Ken Palm data.
I have no data on the game on the.
So what's the most bet online for the
Because you don't
Emmys
want to.
or-
Yeah.
I thought the Emmys were last night.
Something was last night. The Emmys. I think the Emmys were. Maybe it was Golden Globes.
Can't bet on them anymore.
Let's see.
Those things used to be cool. Now, yeah, I can't. Yeah,
TV
no.
and novelty. Outstanding. All right. What's today? Oh, that's tonight. Monday. No, wait. When is the Emmys? When are the Emmys?
Today is January 15th.
All right. That might be tonight. Yeah, the
They doing
Emmys
it on
are
a
tonight.
Monday?
The Emmys are tonight.
Don't they
All
know
right.
it's Super Wild
We
Card
can-
Weekend?
Emmys, you got Outstanding Comedy Series. The
Man,
Bear.
first NFL takes over the NBA on Christmas Day, then they
Jeez.
take over college football Saturdays, and then now they're taking over Emmy Monday.
Steal Emmy Monday? Jeez, what's
Ju-
next?
Just think it's cool. All the things you can bet at Potawatomi Sportsbook. You are minus right now 400 for the Bear to win Outstanding Comedy Series and minus 5,000 for Succession to win Outstanding Drama Series. That is a heavy favorite. Holy cow!
Secession's great. The Bear, I haven't seen that. What's that on? Don't tell me Peacock.
It's not on Peacock. I want to say Netflix. Laura watched it. It's about it's a drama about a restaurant kitchen. The restaurant's called The Bear. Yeah.
I was figuring
It's pretty
it'd be
funny,
Grizzly Bear,
actually.
too.
How about that? You got
documentary.
how
I
about
thought
that?
there was cocaine. I thought it was Cocaine Bear.
I was hoping it was Cocaine
that's a different
Bear.
deal.
That's the documentary on Sam Hurd coming out soon.
You can get Jason Sudeikis plus 650 to win Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series when he was in Ted Lasso.
I like that deal.
I'm not gonna. I don't have edges, so I'm not
You should,
betting these.
you should parlay Secession with Jason Sudeikis. Parlay them on them.
Well,
Even
parlay 'em
better-
on if I get down there. That's why I don't think I'm going to get down there today.
Even better, while we're discussing all these TV storylines and streaming services, I got one for you and a local one. Hour ago, Giannis announced this. Proud to announce the launch of Improbable Media with my family and my first feature-length production. It's the true story about me and my family's journey, and I cannot wait to share it with you. Premieres on Prime Video February 19th.
All right, new
Giannis,
Giannis doc.
The Marvelous Journey premieres February 19th on Prime Video.
Nice.
So there we
New
go.
Giannis doc. He didn't like that Disney movie, is what he's saying?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he was a big fan of the Disney movie then. So he did it himself.
The true story.
More than anything, he said, wait, people want this? I think I'm going to make it myself and
put
make
it
more
out.
money
Yep.
on it.
Exactly.
Smart guy.
Exactly.
Smart guy, Giannis.
That's
Atta
right.
baby. We're back right after this. It's 9 to noon on the game.
And when it comes to getting another stogie,
First and 10 football at the 38 of Dallas. Play action and bootleg left, half bootleg left. Now throw back the other way. He's got him wide open. Down the right side. Musgrave ends out. Touchdown. Touchdown. Luke Musgrave. And a dagger. A dagger right through the heart of the Cowboys.
The people like, damn, that's a cold ass honky.
It was 43-33 TOD, time of dagger for Wayne Larrabee. What?
Third quarter dagger. Who would have thought that? No, you're good.
Did I say?
Were you guys cool with a third quarter dagger?
It was great.
Cool with
Yeah,
that?
it was fine. It was the right time to throw it. I think it was over. I think reasonably it was over.
There were people on social media that called it a preempted. Were you done there? Tell me you were done there. Tell me you did not pregnate.
That time I was done.
Me with a pause there.
I was going to answer your question on the people on social media. That's because they're like the Josh Albrechts. That they're always nervous. They would never have a dagger if it wasn't for them, because they they could come back. We're only up 25.
How nervous were those folks after the Jake Ferguson touchdown, and it's only 27-7 there at half?
They were all nervous. Everyone was nervous.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly what caused Armin to run right back over to the dump button to start out the segment. I don't know exactly what I said.
He was wigging. But
well, I thought maybe this.
Luke Musgrave, he's cold, man. Luke Musgrave is cold as it gets, man. I'll tell you what, he really is. But hey, he stayed on his feet. That's what Matt LaFleur said. Stayed on his feet.
That was awesome.
Yeah. You know what? They need to, and Cheesehead TV, do it. Matt LaFleur on that big screen at that British bar, he stayed on his feet. All the people, that's what I need. Aaron Nagler, get it done. I know you're out there listening. Cheesehead TV, one of our good partners that we work with here.
Even better.
Get that going.
Because, dude, they isolated that video, and
do you think you could make that, Armin? You should make that if you put it on. If you put it on 9 to noon.
This guy,
then we're blowing up.
Dude, not a chance in hell.
This thing is gold. Listen, there's going to be a
chance in hell.
There's going to be a nooner.
Respect, no.
Armin, if you don't do this, there's going to be a nooner that makes that meme, and he is going to go viral.
That's fine. I'm more of a great audio editor than video, so I don't do a lot of
video.
Greg and
Grafton is going to make that meme.
Yeah.
He stayed on his feet.
Greg, that's fine. That'd be great if they made it. I think I think there's a chance in hell, though. Let's be honest.
With this computer system today,
okay, that's
you
different.
couldn't even turn on your computer back there.
With your phone, you can't make it with your phone?
I don't have a working computer.
He has no idea how to do that.
Oh, I don't have iMovie because I have an Android.
Yeah. It would take this dude 3 days to figure out how to figure out.
I can legitimately say I have no idea how they put those screens on that screen.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, there might not, and all the memes. Meme City now is unbelievable. Meme City, where you just watch games and simultaneously wait for the memes that come out of crazy stuff throughout the day. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys and what they have to endure with the memes today and yesterday after the game are outstanding. But I don't know how people are so damn creative to put this stuff together. Where do they get the time?
Well, there must be a way to do it,
fair.
to be able to do it quick. There must be a way to edit it quick. But I do wonder that too. Like, there are some people that just come up with that content all day. I'm like, you can do it that quick, or is it just taking you that long?
Like, how do you feel about the people that steal other people's videos and then use them and caption them, and then you can see right underneath the video it says, "Oh, this is ripped from this," and blah blah blah.
I don't love it, but that's just the way it works, especially on X.
I just did it today.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
but that's not near as good as making your own meme.
No, you have to watermark all your stuff now. That's the only way.
Yeah, I got no chance. There's no chance that I have the time or mental capacity to be able to do that.
I don't know. Statman Steve started doing that with his pictures. He started watermarking it. I know what you mean. At the time, the mental, I don't have the time for it. Like, some people do. They have the time to do that, but maybe they can do it quicker.
That's what I want. I want nooners out there. Nooners. I'm making a call. Here's the 9 to noon bat signal. We need that meme. We need Matt LaFleur. And Luke Musgrave stayed on his feet. And then the whole bar in Great Britain going nuts.
That would be a good one.
I'm just glad that he said it. So now I feel safe making the joke, right? Like, does that make sense? Like,
totally.
I did feel a little bit bad because obviously I think Luke Musgrave is a fantastically talented player, but it didn't make any sense to me how it was like a baby deer when turning around, not being able to keep his footing, and to be able to stay on his feet at that exact moment, turn in for the touchdown. Ooh, And you knew that everything was going right at that exact
And
moment.
let's be honest. He broke a tackle earlier in the game at the sideline. Fell out of bounds, didn't fall, but was pushed out of bounds. He broke a tackle earlier in the game. So Luke Musgrave coming alive here. Baby deer, maybe not so much anymore.
He's got that Ultimate Warrior face paint, which I believe the whole tight end room is going with, which I'm a big fan of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't tell me Tucker Kraft doesn't bring the best out of him either.
If they start having streamers hanging from, right below their biceps, it's about to go down.
Well, if that turf tape starts hanging on down there over by the bicep, John, it kind of looks like an Ultimate Warrior streamer. Were you a face paint guy or a face eye black face paint kind of guy?
I was
during
eye
the game?
black, but I was traditional eye black.
One little stripe.
I worked for the purpose of the eye black.
Oh, wow. There actually is a purpose. You would not be able to tell high school kids that at all anymore.
They think it's just design and aesthetics.
It's just to color. It's just to color themselves, right?
They think
they watch Aiden Hutchinson and they think that this is 300. I'm just going to run one right down my eye and everyone's going to think I'm the scariest human being in the world. And then, coach has to come up to you and say, hey, ref's already told you got to take it. Oh, come on, coach. But it looks so good. Yeah, I know it does. Looks awesome. Just spent 35 minutes pregame doing it. Now you got to take it off. And we got to kick off in 24 minutes. So let's get to the bathroom and get it done.
You know what? You spend 35 minutes doing push-ups instead of that face paint, your arms are going to look better. And then the other team's going to be afraid of you. They look at this and they laugh. So go ahead and take that off, scrub that off your face, do some push-ups. That's what I tell them.
You do some push-ups, I'll get you a bicep band and we'll really start putting some fear in somebody else.
Got all kinds of swole going out there.
You missed the travel armband from the late 90s. That tat that everybody had. That travel
You mean
armband.
like the Brian Urlacher barbed wire?
Oh, they all had that. I'm almost surprised John doesn't. Is that bad to say?
You don't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari.
That is, you are just so good at casting a shadow on me right now.
No, it's not a negative. It's
something.
You were a fullback in the 90s and a linebacker in high school.
You're surprised I don't have a barbed wire tattoo. That says all I need to know about how you think of me.
You're getting me wrong.
I was unfamiliar with your game.
No, I'm familiar with John's game. I know you were a chemistry major in college. I'm familiar with your game.
I mean, how would you feel if I said, I'm surprised you don't drive a Pinto?
I don't get that. What's that mean?
PT Cruiser feels more like Armin style.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
Oh, man. This guy's going to be in a smart car next year. I got numbers to say the NBC Peacock game is here to stay. And we'll give our final thoughts here today on Super Wildcard Weekend wrapping up 48-32. Oh, and news from Dallas coming up straight ahead. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Lay round and sip colada, dipped in Prada. I'm smooth as ever.
wrap up 9 to noon today. Apologize to all those who have been trying to get in with us on the phones. We are having some gremlins run through here. Text line has been doing robust business. Phone calls hopefully are going to be up tomorrow so we can take all your reaction. When, in the business, they like to say, when listening habits return to normally regular scheduled programming, as many people off today, celebrating and remembering, honoring MLK Day as well. We got some news from Packers and Cowboys. First off, Josina Anderson is reporting at this moment that there has been no decision on Mike McCarthy and that there will not be one expected here today. Very interesting way of phrasing that there won't be necessarily information here today. Sad news on the information, though, for Packers edge rusher JJ, otherwise known as Kingsley Enagbare, feared to have torn an ACL yesterday. Last or second to last drive, John, of the game when JJ goes down. 55 has been getting more and more run. We've talked about it a lot. And again, not to, pat ourselves on the back here, but the way the Packers rotate their edge rushers, that second unit plays more than maybe some other team's second unit outside linebacker pass rushers do. That Enagbare has been playing a decent amount here. That's a tough blow here for 55 to be lost most likely for the rest of the year.
Yeah, a lot of especially early downs throughout a drive that hit the middle of the field so that big third downs they can have Rashawn and Preston fresh for. And, JJ and both he and Van Ness have been very serviceable in that spot role, getting in there, and they kind of complement each other perfectly on the outside. And when you talk about the use of 4 outside linebackers, the way we used them, that's being dropped to 3. Brenton Cox Jr. probably be elevated for his first time in his career.
Let's go
on Saturday against the 49ers, unless there's somebody hiding out there on the practice squad that we're ready to elevate as well to get into the games. It's one of those, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And honestly, I think it's actually a kind of a big hit to this Packer football team to not have JJ being able to play on Saturday. It really is.
Well, especially when you just disrupt what you do, right? Like the way that they rotate in, I do believe keeps those guys fresh. I don't think it's necessarily hurt Preston Smith's production this year because he has seemingly had a very nice resurgence, and you keep him off the field a little bit, save him for some of those third down runs. Now, this would be the right way to go about it. Brenton Cox elevated for his first game of the season, strip sack fumble. There's just no way about it that 57 comes on in, has a massive impact on Saturday night. They're winning the Super Bowl. That is just special seasons made of special stories, or he doesn't play. And I'm just blabbling on this for 30 seconds about nothing, but I'm going to live in that reality where maybe he makes the biggest play of the game.
Somebody has to be elevated. You have to fill that role for Enagbare because, like I said, and when I say it's a big hit, it's not necessarily a big hit because of JJ's production, which he has had production this year.
Strip sack fumble in there.
But it's having the production while resting a player, right? This is having production. It's like having production when Aaron Jones is not in the game at the running back position. You can do that. You can keep Aaron Jones fresh and ready to roll when he goes in there while still being able to have production and not fumble a football or drop a football. So yeah, a very unfortunate news for the Green Bay Packers.
4 straight 110+ yard games for Showtime 33. They keep that and make that 5 straight games. We might have ourselves another one of these Victory Chicken Mondays. Now, we are going to go get some Victory Chicken. Did not come here during the show. During the Mike Heller show, during the breaking news show, maybe you have more breaking news coming out of yesterday's super wild card weekend. I know Mike Heller will get everyone ready coming up for the doubleheader wrapping up Monday of super wild card weekend. You talk about production. The production that started this radio program by Armin Sarian of that Monday montage after a victory. Fantastic work.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Don't rest on your laurels. I love doing it.
I'm not
celebrating.
I don't want to rest on my laurels. I do have a lot of guys that are willing to do the editing, though, John. Napa Greg said he'll do it. So, hey, all right. I can't wait to see that video editing.
It's a race to see who can create the Luke Musgrave stayed on his feet.
Chris
Great Britain bar meme.
Chris from Mount Pleasant, too. Let's do it.
He's lining on up in. Let's go. Everybody trying to take over that opportunity is the take home of the day. Brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Don't cook. Stop by your local Quick Trip. Pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take home meal. They got fantastic options. You might even find some fettuccine Alfredo, spaghetti and meatballs, everything you need right there. For John Kuhn, Armin Sarian, I'm Billy Schmid. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Victory Monday. We'll do it again tomorrow, and we'll try to be better tomorrow. It's 9 to noon on the game.